Hello everyone, Dan Video Games here. As a bit for the last 3 months or so, Bob and my intro to Big Thing to Mention has been us referencing the great feature we heard about on Xbox, where you can download your games ahead of schedule before sticking the disc in using the app. I can't figure out how to do that, and I'm worried that that feature doesn't actually exist, so for now, we will have to change our intro. Thank you for your understanding.
Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Thing to Mention featuring Dan and Bob Video Games.
Hey Bob,
Hey, Dan.
you see that PS5 game?
Yeah?
It'll actually download.
Whoa!
KZ, excellent.
I say words.
And Mr. Feel,
I'm a nerd porn auteur.
here on GigaBoots.
Hello everyone, welcome to an action-packed episode of Big Thing to Mention. We're so excited to be here. Bob and I have played many games. I don't know about our co-hosts. Have you guys been playing video games?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we should get to talking about what you've been playing. Me and Bob have some crossover here. So we'll go ahead and knock that out. But first and most importantly, let's talk about Godfall.
God. Do you have to?
Yes,
Yes.
because people
Okay.
need to know. The whole reason I paid $70 for this game is so everyone can know. And KZ, you had the benefit of getting to sit shotgun on my adventure by watching my PS5 system level stream to you. The audience is not so lucky.
Yeah, I full screened it, so it was a 380p video blown up to a 55-inch television.
The ideal Godfall experience.
Yeah, it was quite good. I saw 8 hours of that game.
So KZ saw almost all of that game. The only bits he didn't see is the day one bit where we played it and our audience begged us to stop and Eric almost fell asleep on camera. And then the second time we streamed it, which was a part of our Rise, Son of Rome, 2 Human Godfall Power Trinity stream last Friday.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
And the holy shit. And that, there we played it for maybe an hour and a half at most. And then KZ got to ride shotgun as I decided I'm gonna play Godfall. That game, with no exaggeration at all, I can say has 4 levels. 4. I think maybe 5 if you count the intro, but I'm pretty sure the intro was comprised of one of the other levels. I'm not positive though. It was so long ago.
You're like, yeah, it left me.
It's brutally just mundane, unexciting, absolutely boring. It's not even that. The games, so they have all these mechanics. For people who don't know, it's a third-person action game. They're trying to make something that is the Melee equivalent of a Borderlands or a Destiny, where you have your character, you play through a level, you do some missions, you get some stuff. Now, the way Borderlands solves this problem is different from Destiny. Borderlands has really huge, open, vast, plains and things like that. And it's like, okay, I'm going to go to town, I'm going to pick up this mission, and then I'm just going to seamlessly go to wherever. The way Godfall solves this, because it's merely published by Gearbox, it's not developed by them, it's developed by Counterplay Games. I hope they survive this. This game solves it sort of like Destiny, except for not quite. You see, there aren't bounties, there's no grand hub city. You're literally in what is about the size of, how would you phrase? It's about half the size of a movie theater lobby, and you're crowded in there with 12 suits of armors and the only 2 NPCs in the game who tell you the whole plot through you walking up to them, holding square, and them sort of rigidly staring at you as they mouth flap. One of the mouth flaps, because it is nothing but a face. The other one has no face, so they don't even need to lip sync on it. They just do dialogues with you to dryly deliver what they call a plot in this game. And once you do that, once you beat a mission, you come back, you talk to the face, you talk to the faceless one, and then you talk to the face again, and then you embark on another mission. That's literally the loop every time.
I watched it. You don't understand unless you're just watching back, forth. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean that was story?
Yeah.
I'm just losing. I'm just losing it at the thought you talk to the face, then to the faceless.
Yes.
Aren't they like the opposite side of the room too? So you
Yes.
run back and forth all the way
Yeah,
across
so you
the
have to
room.
run across your armor collection in order to talk to each one of them.
So this game was shipped. This game was unfinished and shipped anyway.
Yeah, I believe Casey said someone he was watching or listening to compared it to an E3 demo that shipped, and that's totally fair. It doesn't feel like
yes.
this is a completed product. But let's talk about the mission structure. So as I said, you talk to face, faceless, face again, and then you select the portal in the middle of the room. When you do that, it brings up a map. And on this map, there are maybe 3 or 4 icons. I think the biggest, most badass world, because there are 3 realms, which is horrifying. I sat there, and once I realized at the beginning of the game, it only had 3 notches at the top. And that meant the game was only 3 total of what I was playing. I started freaking out because it does not feel substantive. So you have these icons, and they'll be like, oh, here's this story mission, or here's just this mission, or there's the button that is just patrol. Godfall is a game made entirely out of patrol areas in Destiny, but worse, because they're all hallway size. It's not like giant open wastelands with really cool vistas and stuff like that. Like, you know, Venus in Destiny looks beautiful and has this great cliff with a great skybox and fantastic art direction. There are multiple different paths you can go on. No, it's more like if you organize the wilderness into high school hallways, you know, you just cut routes that connect every so often and have 90-degree angles with each other.
Yeah, I was watching you play. It was like this looks auto-generated almost, but it's
not. It's not. And
That's how the PS3 Tales of games that didn't have world maps worked. The towns were connected by narrow hallways of nature.
Yes.
so
it's more ludicrously copy-paste than that ever was.
yeah, it's crazy
Oh,
because
that was pretty copy paste.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I don't doubt that for a second, but it's so okay. So as I said, there are like 4 levels, maybe 5 if the intro level is unique assets. Each one of these realms is just a big ass bloated level that has not really what you would say passes for level design at all. For example, you accept a mission. It's like, hey, go kill this thing. And you would think, okay, I'm going to fight this enemy. It's going to be in a room designed to fight it. No, it literally sometimes just feels like he was hiding in a water closet. You open a door, and then there's the named enemy who looks like all the other, quote, named enemies, and then you kill it.
Shittis.
Dippish yeah. And you know, sometimes when he's really cool, it plays a little video of Dippish Shittis. That's it, right before it loads the level. And Casey
Like
had a
doing
stroke.
a flourish.
Yeah. KZ had a stroke because I said, hey, KZ, and he went, what? And I showed how you could just pause during that cinematic. You can
It doesn't stop the cinematic. It just puts a sidebar up there with like your pause information while it plays.
So if you can imagine an out of focus, cool beast in the background trying to mug to the camera and look badass with some text, and it's got a start menu on it, even though this should be a loading screen. Yeah, there's a bunch of layers with this game.
I think that I would compare the level design to graph paper.
There's so many things about this game. You saying this feels like a Destiny patrol, but you know, that's the whole game.
Yes.
Makes sense. When I saw you get into things where it's like you are starting a time trial or something, or you're starting this specific mission. It's like, all right, you're in the area. This is where it would happen, and they say what it is, but right below it in text is like starting in 2, 1, and it's like, no, that's not how that works. That works when it's a side mission of some description. This is the mission.
Yeah.
Why are you even giving a timer on it? It feels like this was they only made side content and got rid of the main content.
Yeah.
And just got confused. The fact that you finish a mission in this, it's like you did it. And the way you would finish a mission in any video game, Phil, would be it fades out. it gives you a results screen. You'd maybe load somewhere else. This one, it's like, we're going to leave in a few seconds, appears. But the way you do is you press start and hit complete mission, and it just hard cuts out of the game. It hard cuts out of the area.
I think there are maybe like 3 or 4 different missions in the whole game that even start the timer that'll automatically make you leave. Most of the time, you kill the guy, you finish the mission, and it just goes, bring up the pause screen and select completed mission.
It's like press tilde and open up the console.
And this is all just content I've been talking about. Guys, we need to talk about the combat design. They built a number of mechanics into this game, none of which pay off. By the end of this game, and I'm not exaggerating, in the least, all I did was push R2. Nothing else made any sense. I picked up my big Unga hammer, whose number values weren't even that much better than anything else. And I just kept slowly swinging it with R2. Because what it would do is it would build up the stagger bar insanely fast, like within 5 to 7 hits on the enemy, and then they would just be stunned and couldn't do anything to me while I just unload damage on them. That's what the game became at an efficiency level by the end of it. It is staggering. It's nuts.
I looked at the combat for it, and I looked at interviews saying, like, what was their approach here? And they're like, we were heavily inspired by the combat of Monster Hunter. Now, Monster Hunter works because you're fighting, typically, one big thing.
Yes.
Instead of several things everywhere.
Yeah, and like as I tried to explain to the audience who are watching, there's a Soul Shatter system that's kind of like the Dissidia damage system, where one attack will build up the number.
True.
And the other attack will cash in that number to do major damage. They didn't make that number go up high enough for it to make sense.
Yeah, you can still just kill them by hitting them with regular attacks too, so it feels really pointless.
In fact, the R2 button is the button to cash in that damage. I stopped using the normal attack button entirely. And that's the thing. This game isn't even like lacking a move set. It has plenty of moves. Like I have a ground pound that does a stun thing. I have a solo shield throw and a group shield throw that have 2 different sort of effects they would do. I have a supercharge. I have a grappling hook. I have all these things that I can do in combat that should give me options and variety, but they didn't balance it even vaguely. So all I'm doing nowadays is mashing R2 until they're staggered, and then some enemies, when they get staggered, you could do the, quote, finisher animation, which does an insane amount of damage by clicking R3. Also, some really basic shit that doesn't feel right in this game is targeting an enemy takes the R3 button. You have to click that in. But once you target them, it doesn't feel like you did. So it took us about an hour and a half to realize there was a targeting system. It took us like about that long because it just feels bad. I haven't played a game with a targeting system that felt so non-effective, like does not matter in the least, since the PS2. Because the camera doesn't act any different the moment you've locked onto them. There's no sound for you to lock onto them. The reticle that pops up that you locked onto them doesn't look good at all. It doesn't stand out in the least, so you can miss it.
I think it even takes a while to appear, doesn't it?
Yes, it has like a fade-in animation. The last thing you would want on that. It's so staggering how many different ways this game has completely screwed the pooch. And once you beat the story, which is hilariously bad at the end, most of the time it's just completely forgettable and who cares? It's you know, as I said, you're talking to those 2 NPCs to get the whole plot. It's bad. Without completely spoiling it, I'm just going to say the plot is mostly, you need to do these things in order to fight this man. Oh, you doing those things is causing a problem. We will now describe it with words because we could never show it.
I've never seen action combat in this way fail as badly as this one has. Like this makes Final Fantasy 15s look good.
Yeah.
Because I look at it and I look at what you're doing. And you're just hitting R2 and slamming through and damage bursting. But to make it worse, they designed all those bosses with checkpoints. So the health bar has the notches in it. So you break through a notch, and you're like, okay, I survived long enough. Now when I revive, I can run back at them, and their health only goes up to that point. Which makes it funny when everyone's like, look at the SSD's power with Godfall. It is loaded immediately after death. No, they just dropped your character model back a few spaces. Like, the enemy's still where it was when it beat you. So sometimes you respond, you're like, oh, cool, the boss is closer because I died close to the spawn.
Yeah, for example, you're fighting a boss in a really long throne room. One of the most designed bosses in the game. It's the last one.
Yeah, I was like, here we go.
He starts at the far end and has an attack where if you're looking at him, he'll just make you kneel. The solution to this is to turn
there's no visual indicator on that.
None. He doesn't shoot a thing at you. You don't see the attack that makes you kneel, but it happens. So the solution is to stare at the entrance. But what you can do is during your fight with him, bait him towards the entrance. So that way when you die and you have to hold square to restart, you restart at the other end of the throne room and he's still over there. So you just don't have to do that run anymore. He's right there next to the entrance. And it's at moments like this that you go,
learn some good strats fast.
Yeah, no, this... You know, sometimes when I break a game over my knee, it feels really great. Like I got one over on the game, but this was bad. This was like Glass Joe, the first opponent in your fucking Punch-Out game, and I just broke him like Bane did Batman.
Yeah, because even in the games that, feel unbalanced or like bad in terms of its combat or underwhelming, I feel like you still kind of play on the game's terms in some way.
Mm-hmm.
But this feels like such a level of not done, not completed, that it's just like, whatever, I'm just hitting one button, and it worked, I guess.
Yeah, it worked well enough for me to get one checkpoint, so I'll die and then continue.
I want to think that those checkpoints and the boss things came in the last 2 weeks. Like, it feels like that mechanic existed hours before it went gold, where they're just like, this isn't working? Put those in.
Yeah, because like...
Dan, can you imagine restarting an entire boss fight?
Yeah, and that's the thing. If that system wasn't in, I'm sure that game would have scored the lowest any game has of any remotely recent year.
I was watching you suffer against some dude with a giant... dude who fights with like a sword and a cup.
Yeah.
Or like a bucket.
Yes, the lava bucket. I forgot about that. That was really funny. They also have, like, cool killing animations where, I did a bunch of damage on this beast. I need to kill it with my sword. All of them look like placeholder animations. You know, like when you watch the behind the scenes for, say, like a God of War 3 or something else like that, and you're watching the animation play out in their 3D animation software, and it doesn't look cool because it's not in-game and the camera doesn't frame it right. Like, every one of them looks that bad. Like, the impact isn't there, and the polish isn't there, and the animation doesn't look done. All of them look like that. All of them can evoke a chuckle from you. And it's so sad. This whole game is so sad. Also, the soundtrack is there, but only in name. There is a soundtrack. It's incredibly
that they got from a free sound library.
Yeah, it sounds like it. But I think that's all I'm going to say about Godfall. Bob, did you played some of it? Do you have any comments before we move on?
No.
On Twitter, I gave this game a 4 out of 10. 1 point for each level.
That?
I think so.
Honestly, I'm thinking about it. I feel like it deserves a 3 because they're trying to sell it to you for $70.
I see. Here was my thing. I might have given it a 5, but they're trying to sell it to me for $70, so I gave it a 4. Because at some level, it's kind of fun, but the content just is so bad and it's so broken. Like,
this would be good if it was free.
Yes, it would be okay if it was free.
I did learn something from a review that was really bad about it. The reviewer I was watching is from Australia and wanted to play online with people. He's like, from the people that also may have been tricked into playing this and buying this. but couldn't find a game because they are server based.
Oh. So
instead of like peer to peer or something.
So
it's just because of the, and they have a limited amount of server locations. So it's just basically impossible.
So they're the only person in Australia trying to play Godfall, and no one's there with them.
That, and even connecting to other people, it just won't function. So it's like no part of that seems thought through at all.
Yeah. Oh man, that's real bad. I was enjoying breaking the games at some points, like when I did certain things with the crafting mechanics, because this game has a lot of systems. It has crafting mechanics and stuff like that for upgrading your weapons and other shit, but it's just like, in the end, it didn't really matter mechanically. The last 2 to 3 to 4 hours of the game, I was just pushing R2 and face rolling the fucking game, the entirety of it. It was nuts. It's just a shame. I will be trading that in as soon as possible.
Tragic that they didn't have a guaranteed delivered offer on that game for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, their website still doesn't acknowledge that they'll let me trade it in. So after Godfall, I thought it would be funny, already being awake for 14 hours, how funny it would be to just roll into Demon Souls, because I've never really given a Souls game much time. So I played about, 4 hours plus of Demon Souls while Casey hung out.
Yep.
I'm enjoying it. It seems really good, and I don't know if I'll like the other Souls games as much as this. My time with Bloodborne I enjoyed much less than this, and I don't know how much of that is loop based. How much of that is
based on the fact that the frames are wrong and make your eyes bleed?
Right. How much of it is that, or game feel, or anything else? I don't know.
You were shocked by the game feel on display in this game.
I mean, this game literally feels like one of the most responsive action games ever, in as much as there's so little input latency that the second you push a thing, it just goes. It's kind of nuts. I would love to see some analysis between it and the original Demon Souls to see, how much more responsive a game it is. Really gorgeous game. Really enjoying it. Gonna put some more time into it soon, but I wanted to beat COD first. But other people here have played Demon Souls. Did you guys want to say anything about that before we move on? Because I know we have some Demon Souls content coming down the road.
Yeah, I'll save my takes on it for that. I have beaten it, but I want to save it.
Yeah, I also beat it. I don't want to say too much. I started looking into world tendency stuff, and I think I'm going to hate any of that. So I'm not excited to continue, but I'm going to.
Oh, yeah. That was my thing. In the very final thing in the second area of the game, like the second zone, I knew that there was a big sword there because Phil got it. It's locked to white world tendency.
Yeah.
Which means I had to... First, I asked him for help on he could just come into my game online and let me kill him like 3 times, and then I could get it. He's like, I beat
sorry.
it, I took the disc out, it's over. Which I'm like, oh yeah, Phil, the man incapable of walking 6 feet.
Yes!
I'm now doomed.
Also, I didn't have a character on the same world cycle as you, so it wouldn't have worked.
What?
Because I was in New Game Plus, because I beat it.
Ah, okay. I didn't know if New Game Plus actually changes that or not. Assumed it just all worked within passwords.
It doesn't. Maybe it does with passwords, but it doesn't in any other version of the Soul game.
Yeah, because I just set a password with someone and like, let me kill you so I can get this thing. World Tendency's crazy. I just googled the wiki of just every effect. What is?
Yeah, it's absolutely it's by far the most unhinged mechanic in that game.
I'm also thinking about making a new character just to use the Moonlit Great Sword.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I will say, the one thing I'll save most of it for content. 5.2 is fucking miserable.
Yeah,
God.
it sure is. That is the ultimate level in the game that'll teach you to do everything really slowly.
I did that last, so I would literally, it's like, oh, this is easy. I just walk through this. Who cares?
Yeah, I as soon as I went, all right, just cast spells and slowly walk down this track. and out of all the levels in the game, it's the one that I remember the most. I was like, I remember this layout. I don't remember the layout of the first level, but I somehow remember this layout. That says something. There's a problem there.
But yeah, we're gonna be doing a Demon Souls spoiler cast. Who knows when that'll come out? So don't even ask.
Right?
Just as a general rule to people, don't ask when upcoming podcasts are going to happen. And don't ask us when we record, because we're never going to be able to consistently answer both, and we don't want to spend every day of every week answering both.
And in fact, do not perceive us except on YouTube.
I'm gonna be honest with you. We do content way too much. The last thing I need is for someone to remind me I have to do shit.
Yeah, Case, sometimes we tell KZ we're doing this, and he makes a sound like when you backstab someone in Demon Souls and they yell as they turn into mist.
See, when you paused after the he makes a sound, my brain just remembered the internet video from a bit ago of the dude pushing down on an entire container of rubber chickens.
Yeah, it's me.
See, I always go to the realistic shriek in Banjo-Kazooie when you ground pound the turtle. Yes.
Yes. Holy
it's
shit.
not great. We spent at least half of your Godfall session going, oh man, that next session we do is gonna suck.
That's true. Holidays. Anyways,
Happy Halloween.
just as a fucking we recorded this one that far in advance, everyone.
We're insiders. We know about the news ahead of time.
Yes, we're very powerful influencers. We know that
We
Godfall
are.
won't be ready.
We are powerful influencers. There's proof soon.
As you know, curse content shows, the numbering scheme is based on something. I wonder how long people will take to figure out when something was recorded. I'm very excited. Anyway, so that was Godfall and Demon Souls.
Trying to think about what we said in one of those things.
I know, right? It's always fun. It was really good when We Boomers' first episode came out, something like 5 months after we recorded.
And then the one after it came out like 2 weeks later or some shit. It was fucked
Yeah, it was
up.
fucked up. So, okay. Now me and Bob are going to talk about a game. Oh, actually, I guess the next 3 games on my list are things both me and Bob played. Let's go through the
God.
stream ones real quick.
Oh no.
So
I forgot your streams count as content, even though they should.
that's mean. So, in order to prep people for Godfall and to put it in a frame of reference, we were like, it looks like the game Too Human. So we should play Too Human, but it also has it has the same energy as Rise Son of Rome. It's like the same role in a console launch, it's like the ring bearer
Except
at a
it
wedding.
didn't come out at launch.
Rise did, didn't it?
Yeah, I did.
I thought we were switched to 2 Human.
No. It just looks like Too Human. Rise, however, shares the same role with it. So between these 3 games, we found Godfall was the connecting link. So we did a stream where people could donate to make us stop playing one of these horrible games and switch to the other one. Let me tell you, after Godfall and Too Human, Rise Son of Rome comes out looking great.
Honestly, after Too Human, the other 2 look immaculate.
Of course.
Like, we ended up getting stuck in Too Human for several hours, I think, and I wanted to die.
That seems scary.
Too Human has a death animation that is approximately a minute long.
Yeah.
Just don't die. It's your punishment for dying. That's why you can't skip it.
Okay, sure. I believe Bob and I concluded Too Human, possibly the worst game we've ever played on the channel. For people who don't know, Too Human, made by the people who made Eternal Darkness, spent forever in development hell, something like 12 years. It was made on stolen Unreal Engine 3, and it was made for Microsoft. That game is now available for free for some reason.
Oh, good. What a bargain.
I think it's I think it's owned by someone funny now because there was a lawsuit between Silicon Knights and Epic Games where Silicon Knights got viciously ground out of existence.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was real funny.
Yeah, apparently it started as Silicon Knights was trying to sue them.
Yeah, they
And
were
then-
trying to sue
Yes.
Epic for not having good enough support for their engine
You
licensors.
screwed us.
By the way, that lawsuit, as crazy as you think it is, imagine that the human who was behind it, the head of Silicon Knights, is always that bitter. I've seen one interview with the guy, and he had that energy the entire time.
I remember checking in on that dude like a few years ago, and it seemed like he just had a YouTube channel where he's insane.
Oh, that's
I mean, I would also be insane after I directed X-Men Destiny, a game I bought and played to completion.
Ooh.
That sounds cool.
No, KZ, it is.
What is it? Not as good as X-Men Legends?
No, not even close.
of course it is.
That's tragic.
Okay, KZ, here's X-Men Destiny. Imagine that you were being told, okay, you're making X-Men melee focused X-Men Mass Effect.
Okay.
Then they go, we're not going to give you the then halfway through development they go, you are now making a linear action game. Turn all those like hub areas that would be in a Mass Effect game into linear levels. Also you're now shipping 3 years earlier than you need to.
Okay, so to talk about how cosmically unfair game journalists are, the Metacritic for 2 Human is 65. The Metacritic for Rise Son of Rome is 60. The Metacritic for Godfall is 62. They got this completely backwards. Also, those numbers are not nearly low enough on all of them except for Rise.
2 Human is so bad. Like, I don't think people understand how bad the camera system feels, how none of your hits feel like they work right because they're all assigned to the right analog stick. You point at the direction the enemy you want to hit, and it never works right.
Yeah, if you can imagine, it's like a top-down third-person hack-and-slash game where you slash by pushing the stick in a direction repeatedly.
And you have no defense measures at all.
You know what demi-glace is?
No.
Where demi-glace is a thing in cooking where you take like a bunch of beef bones and veal bones and stuff and you make a really rich broth and then you condense it down so far until it's like a jelly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's unbelievably, rich and people just put a little tiny bit into like a pan sauce or a soup stock and it adds so much flavor. 2 Human is 7th gen demi-glace.
Yes.
It is every bad part of 7th gen condensed down into one game.
See, I kind of, while I see where you're coming from, it also seems like the runoff water from all of 7th gen went into the sewers and made this. It's just this terrible fucking experience.
Yeah, it sounds out as this blight among an absolutely terrible gen. It's just like, it's still an obelisk.
It's a real, it's an outstanding member of that gen.
It really is.
And not for good reasons. But anyway, that's 2 Human. Rise, I expected that game to be much worse considering it was originally a hack and slash, or originally a Kinect game. The fact it's more serviceable than these 2 other games is insane. That's about all I have to say about Rise, though. You good to move on, Bob?
Sure. I guess the only thing about Rise is it actually has like a story connecting everything, which is more than you can say for either of the other games.
Yeah, the thing with 2 Human is you spend like forever in a terrible level and you wish you were dead, and then you go back to home base and you get a shitload of story that almost seems disconnected from what happened in the level.
Yes.
But, it gave us like 20-30 minutes straight of story once we got back to the hub world, and that the storytelling in the actual first level was a lot more together than any part of Godfall.
Right. Like it had stuff going on, and then it completely dropped the story out for seemingly an hour straight of just nothing but mindless, terrible combat.
Yeah. To keep in mind though, with Rise, we played it on the Series X.
Yes,
it performed much more stably than I think it did back on the one. But I don't know. I didn't look it up.
I'm glad you're able to download it.
This is mean. Why you got to do this?
You have Halo yet?
Shut the fuck up.
I was hoping. It's been days.
Dude. Okay. So we're going to talk about it now. I was going to save it for news. But spent 2 hours on the phone with customer support. Customer service keeps trying to blame my router. I keep saying no.
It tells you to talk to gamers.
Yeah, the website told me to message an Xbox gamer to solve my problem, which is fucking unhinged.
That's psychotic.
It is. Yeah, you should never recommend a customer talk to a random other customer to solve their problem. That's fucking nuts. However, most of this customer service call, the guy's very polite, but I inform him at the beginning the full list of things I wrote down that I tried so we don't do them all again. He makes me do one of the longest ones again anyways. And I'm like, oh, God.
Of course.
He's like, install the whole thing from a disk and do the update. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. But just so you know, this is literally the last thing I did before I called you. I did this 2 days ago. It will not work. He's like, yeah, can you do it anyways? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it.
Sir, please, I have a chart.
And then he goes,
I can't help you until you do it.
He goes, okay, is it done installing? And I'm like, no, it is 47 gigs. It will take 40 more minutes to install from the disk. And he goes, okay. 5 minutes pass. Is it done installing yet? No, it is still installing from a disk. It is going to take, according to it, 38 more minutes, which is weird because 5 minutes ago it said 40. He goes, okay. We wait 5 more minutes. He goes, is it done installing? And I'm like, no, it is not done installing. It will be this amount of time. If I were to be pessimistic, I would add 10 minutes onto that. And he goes, okay, well, I will, if you're okay with it, I will contact you back in this amount of time and we'll see how it worked. And I'm like, okay, we can do that. It's not going to work.
Sounds like a trap.
I will go ahead and do that. So he calls me back and we're talking. And he's like, you know, it might be your networking. And I'm like, yeah, that would make sense. Except I can download Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, which is over 40 gigs in size, just fine. I can't update and download Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Halo Master Chief Collection, Gears 5, and then he tells me after, back and forth, to try Forza Horizon 4. And that doesn't work either. And thus, through all of this, I finally proved to the man, it's smart delivery. My fucking Xbox can't download a game if it has smart delivery. For people who don't know, I have Game Pass Ultimate. And for people who also don't know, even if you put the disc in and install it and says, hey, I would like to do an update, that won't work either. So if a game has smart delivery, I literally can't play it. So guys, I don't know why I bought a $500 Series X if I can't play the next gen version of anything.
So were they just like woefully unequipped for like the licensing?
I don't know.
Like the infrastructure of validating licenses for smart delivery, so some people just get fucking their ass blown out.
I guess there have been reports of licensing problems being issues in the past for downloading things from Microsoft. I think I'm using the correct term, CDNs. Before, people have had similar problems with the Windows Store. And like, it's nuts. It's completely fucking nuts, you guys. Like, after there were no launch titles, I kept telling myself, it's okay. I get to play Gears 5 and Halo Master Chief Collection when they update it for 4K 120. No, I get to do nothing. So he realizes it's smart delivery. I realize it's smart delivery. And he goes, I'm going to go ahead and pass this on to the relevant departments. And I do something that I wish I hadn't done, but I did it because, my God, after explaining to him at the beginning of this phone call, like, here are all these things I did. Please don't make me do them again. And he makes me do the one.
Thank you.
No. After he made me do the one that was an hour and 20 minutes for that one step, I was not exactly jazzed. Towards the end, I was like, dude, I cover games for a living. And I didn't say it in a snobbish way. I was like, yeah, no, it's the smart delivery. I understand smart delivery. I talked about it all year. I know that seems to be the thing that causes this problem, because any game that has only a next-gen SKU, like Devil May Cry, like will download just fine. For people who haven't heard specifically what the problem downloading is, it will stop the download after 5 seconds. So, for example, I let Halo the Master Chief Collection download its 116 gigabyte file over the course of 38 hours, and on our gigabit Ethernet connection, it couldn't even get halfway done. So, my Xbox is useless. It literally couldn't progress past the halfway point. It didn't even get to the halfway point. So he passed that on to the relevant departments of Microsoft. My Xbox is useless, but he's going to contact me back next Monday. The Monday this comes out. And we'll talk.
Which means when you post this episode, you can include an update.
Yeah, it's kind of like when last week I was like, hey guys, don't forget to mention the Halo Master Chief Collection update. I'm so excited. And then that exact moment on Twitter, I'm like, it's not working.
Oh my God.
That's always the scary thing when we have to do these podcasts. Like, this could age bad.
Excitement? Oh man, don't do that. That's cringe.
That's pretty cringe, bro.
You have no idea how scared I was even including that The World Ends With You countdown last week.
Yes.
I spent the last 24 hours with anxiety.
See, here's the thing.
No, that'd be hilarious if it ended up being nothing.
If it ended up being nothing, my thing would age okay for 2 hours.
So here's the thing, though. To put in the chasm of difference here, you're like, they're teasing this thing. I think it might be exciting. My thing was, hey, guys, I'm going to download a fucking thing I own!
Yeah.
Well, now that your thing doesn't work, can I have your Xbox?
No! Say it again, I'll break your legs!
KZ, he can download things on other platforms. It seems to just be the Xbox that's cursed.
I really think the lesson here is that Dan's very rude and ungrateful.
Hey, my shit doesn't work. Can I buy it? No. Hey, my shit doesn't work. Can I buy it? No. I've told you no 10 times over the last week.
Well, who is going to buy it? Some poor, unfortunate rube on eBay.
I'm like, this will either be a funny bit or he'll fire me. There's one of two options here. I'm thinking it's a funny bit.
We'll find out. We even tried using Bob's account.
Yeah.
We even tried using Bob's account that does not have Game Pass and just updating the fucking file off the disk. It's just not going to work. So hopefully Microsoft gets their shit together, because there might be a point where I just don't get to talk about Xbox at all. I don't get to play Halo Infinite. I don't get to do anything on an Xbox ever again. I just have to play the Steam versions of all their games, which doesn't sound too bad, except for I don't like using my PC to game. I like having a dedicated console so that way I can game while it renders stuff or while it deals with things, you know? Anyway, I'm going to move on. So, Bob.
Yeah.
We played Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.
We did.
I beat the campaign. I'll talk about that real quick, and then we'll talk about multiplayer. People will want to pay attention for the multiplayer part for sure. Because one of the things is stroke-inducing.
Okay, do you kill Reagan?
I don't want to spoil anything. If I say yes, that would be a spoiler. If I say no, that would be a spoiler. I don't want to.
Yeah, just leave. Don't do that, man.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yesn't.
Yesn't. So the campaign, I talked about it a bit last week. You know, they have open level designs in a lot of levels. There are optional things you can go off and do on the side. There are open floor plans of multiple different ways you can tackle things. A lot of the levels have optional evidence for you to go collect, so that way you can get a true ending per se, or some other ending. I haven't actually gotten it yet because I missed 2 pieces of evidence, so I'm going to go back and do that. As I mentioned last week, you know, there are dialogue trees between you and many of the characters, both inside a mission and at your home base, that have really cool results that come out of that. The game's really neat. I enjoyed the campaign. The campaign was not terribly long. Even getting 2 of the endings, it took me, I would say, maybe like 7.5 hours, maybe. I wish that multiplayer registered as a different game, so that way I could look at my PS5 and it tell me exactly how long it took. But yeah, no, it's got some really cool shit. I really enjoyed that single player. I'm gonna go finish out that out completely sometime soon and then uninstall it because it's over 60 gigs.
Yeah, I need to try that single player. It sounds really neat.
Absolutely. So that way we can have the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War spoiler cast.
I plan on buying it next month so we could entertain something like that.
Great.
Thought this being easy one was just being dead.
See,
no, sorry.
it's okay, Bob. We'll still just use the scratch track that our mix pre-makes. People will be like, why does KZ break up in this podcast? But yeah, so the single player is great. I wish I could talk more about it, but I don't really want to spoil it. For people who haven't played it but have played various other Black Ops games, I can say it's kind of Black Ops core. But I enjoy it as a campaign immensely more than at very least Black Ops 1. I haven't gone through the campaigns of
I feel like
2 or 3, and then 4 didn't have one.
Yeah, the Black Ops campaigns, I feel like 1 was its own thing, interesting, and then 2 and 3 both went like weird sci-fi futuristic stuff that seemed to like have this mix of upsetting people or people getting really into it.
Yes.
So I don't know if you could even call it Black Ops Core unless it goes like Animus levels of it was actually the future.
But here's the thing: in Black Ops 2, you had like a branching mission structure, correct?
You did have that.
So there are parts of this that kind of tap into that a little bit.
Branching mission structure, and then you get the wingsuit and fly away.
You chose the good future. But yeah, no, it's really cool. I'm very excited to talk with Bob and seemingly KZ about the single player campaign at some point in the future. So
I need to understand the future of first person shooters, the power of triggers.
Dude, it is so fucking cool.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah, Bob and me have been playing multiplayer though, because of course he picked up the game, but he hasn't had time for the single player yet. The modes we checked out were the competitive mode, the dead up.
I returned my copy of Godfall to pick it up.
What an upgrade. What an upgrade.
Nothing was funnier than when you're like, oh man, I almost accidentally opened this Godfall from the wrap.
Yeah, that was bad.
Bob went to go open what was the game you were Demon Souls?
Spider-Man. I think I was trying to open Spider-Man. Yeah. I realized I had Godfall
I heard
in
you
my
rustling over there, and you're like, wait.
Sounded terrified.
It's Godfall.
Yeah, he thought he was opening Spider-Man, and then he looked at his hands, and he was holding Godfall. So he couldn't return it.
You sounded more scared than that one time we did a chugging bleach and it died. And the SD card died. You sounded more manic over losing $70.
Yeah, it would have been terrible if Bob lost $70 to Godfall. I say this as someone who lost $70 to Godfall. But
maybe
yeah,
they'll bring it back like No Man's Sky.
Maybe, honestly, but I doubt it. So let's talk about competitive. As Bob has mentioned in the past, he checked out the beta for this Call of Duty. There are tons and tons of attachments and customizations you get to do to each gun, changing its attributes and giving you other features. It's pretty neat. Something like 6 attachments normally, and if you have a specific skill,
it's 5 normally and then 7 with the skill.
Yeah, so you could go up to 7.
Which is crazy.
It's stupid levels of awesome. It's like, oh man, light machine guns, they're really cool because you get to fire for a long time, but then, they aren't very stable, and it's like, fuck you, I have a light machine gun from the future with 7 attachments that make it insanely good.
I put a laser sight on it, so now I can fire it from the hip.
Yes! It's so good. Really, really enjoying the online. I personally enjoy the levels. I've seen some people who like it and some people who hate it. Some people who are mixed, like some of the levels and hate others. I didn't write it down. It's its own category in my notes. But for people who don't know, you have the normal competitive stuff, online COD modes. And then you have the more Battlefield-like one. Do you remember the name of that mode, Bob?
I think it's under Combined Arms.
Yes, Combined Arms. Mosh Pit, I believe, was the name of it.
Something like that.
Mosh Pit, Combined Arms. That raises the scale of the maps. So, like, for example, if you're playing a normal team deathmatch competitive, There is a naval level which takes place on top of these ships and some submarines that you can stand on, but it really just takes place across one naval ship. In the combined arms mosh pit mode, there's zip lines between something like 4 different ships, maybe more, maybe less, and there's even small stuff out in the side, and you can swim in the water to get to these different areas, and it's zones like Battlefield. It's kind of weird. I'm not sure that I really think Call of Duty feels great to do that in. That's how I felt coming away from it. I'm gonna give it more time, but in the time I spent with it, it just, for some reason, that type of mode doesn't click for me.
I feel like they need more maps for it because there were only 2 and it kept sending us to the bad one. Because that ship one you described, it's a cool one where there's lots of different ways to approach it. The one it kept sending us to was the snow level, I think, in Russia.
Yeah, they had a snow level, which was a blown up version, like a huge version of the one from the competitive multiplayer. The funniest part about that one, Bob, is that they have tanks on that because, to be like Battlefield, they add vehicles.
Right.
And the mode is still, hey, you need to hold these zones. Because the tanks were there, some dipshits were just driving around in the tanks shooting at people while the enemy team would take the zones.
Yeah, no, convincing Call of Duty players to figure out a Battlefield mode is a little much.
It's so good, though. It's so funny. It's so funny watching these guys, and I'm like, look, they just want to have fun.
Just let them run free.
They want to drive the tank, man. Come on, let them drive the tank. But yeah, I don't know. They need more maps. And the cool thing is, since this game is full cross-play, I've been playing with my brother Steve, who's on PC. And you can do that across a number of the modes. We did some zombies. We did competitive. We also did Dead Ops Arcade.
Oh.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about with competitive before we move on? I figure I'll probably have more to definitively say about it down the road.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like there's also not that many maps for competitive even, so I'm excited to see that get more.
Yeah, I'm trying to do a head count.
I feel like we've been to 5.
Yeah, I think it's like 5 or 6. Keep in mind, we're only playing Team Deathmatch.
Yes, that's true. We're limiting our scope.
I like my ice cream vanilla, thank you.
Sometimes I like doing kill confirm, but I know that it's not the same.
I enjoy kill confirmed, honestly.
Okay.
I just want to avoid everything else. I really, playing this, I've enjoyed it a lot, and I really wish Battlefield was back in full swing.
Yeah, I hope that whenever it comes back, it's actually really solid again, because it's been so long.
It's been literally an entire generation. Battlefield 4 came out at the launch of the PS4.
Yeah, and everything else has been a disappointment since. It's crazy.
Yes, it's kind of nuts. Because their graphics stuff got intensely good over the course of the generation. Yeah. They make some of the most beautiful shooters all of last gen. Doesn't fucking matter anymore, Grandpa. We're in the future. I'm playing COD at 120 frames per second on my fucking PS5.
Yes.
They kind of lost their way there. They skipped entire numbers. They went from 1 to 5.
They went from 4 to 1 to 5
to B.
That's true, V.
Okay.
And then there's the one we don't talk about.
Oh yeah.
I was like, let's see who can remember it even.
Hands up, don't shoot.
Oh, Hardline was this gen. For some reason, I mentally put it back on the PS3.
Not this gen.
Right. It was last gen. It was, which now, look, like I said, it's like the first 2 weeks of the year where it's like, oh fuck, I fucked up my check.
Yes, that's true. But yeah, I would love it if we got Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 3 scale Battlefield again. Those games are so fun, and I do enjoy that sort of gameplay more, Yeah. I like being able to be on top of a building and parachute down into the street and sneak my way over to another zone. That's a completely different feel that you don't get from Call of Duty.
Yeah, like something we didn't talk about with the Battlefield mode in Call of Duty. You don't get to select a spawn point. You don't get to have that level of strategy. It kind of just spawns you wherever it wants.
And that sucks. That takes away that level of strategy, and that's one of my favorite things about Battlefield. You can choose a spawn point that may not get you to the battle immediately, but can offer you a stealthy way to get to a different zone
Also,
that is less guarded.
There's no aerial stuff in Call of Duty.
Yeah, there's no aerial stuff here. It's all ski-doos, tanks, and schooners? Question mark?
Yes, there's snowmobiles.
Yes.
And larger boats, which larger boats kind of cool because you get a machine gun on it.
Inga dinga durgan.
Thumbs up.
So, yeah. Anyways, that's how the competitive is. I'm enjoying it.
We gotta talk about Dead Ops now, don't we?
Let's just talk about zombies real quick. So there's the zombies mode. In it, you shoot zombies. Bob, did you have anything you wanted?
Not really. It still seems to be the same mode as before, which I never really like because everything feels so spongy.
It seems like it could be neat. I'm gonna give it a few more tries before I really say anything on the podcast. But for people who don't know, it's like you have this huge map. You get currency by killing zombies. You're able to open up new areas with the currency. You can do things that work you towards your ultimate goal with the currency. You can buy new weapons randomly with the currency, or you can buy it more expensive for a specific weapon if you can find the drop. Weapons have grades like a Diablo or Warcraft type system, where you get higher grades of it, like 5 different colors sort of thing. And you have some skill sets and other things you can bring in that you slowly level up. That's about it for zombies, though. Guys, did you know that Call of Duty Black Ops 1 had a twin-stick shooter in it?
Oh,
No.
It's back.
oh no.
Bob, I believe you said, maybe I'm misremembering, so correct me.
Okay.
You said at least it's better than the Quark game?
Yes. Yeah.
I was about to ask because the Quark game is the
That's the bar for really bad twin stick.
The bar for twin stick shooters.
Let me put it this way: the experience of playing it, okay?
I was just gonna say it was sleep medication.
Yeah, I was gonna say it literally was the Godfall stream on launch day all over again, where if people were watching us, they would beg us to stop playing, and then I felt like Bob or Steve were gonna just fall asleep. It's so boring, and it looks so awful, and the level design's almost non-existent.
And it plays like weird mellow music.
God. Okay, it's so hard to explain how ethereal and non-existent the music is. It's like you'll be playing this twin stick shooter and you expect chiptune or even something that just sounds cool. It sounds like sleep medication.
It's also super quiet, so you have to stop shooting to hear it.
Yeah, and if you're shooting, you can't hear it, and then if you stop shooting, you just hear. And I'm like, what is that? Am I losing my mind, or is there music there? Because it's really that quiet. It plays an insanely long cutscene before you get into this. That tries to tie up the lore of, I think, every twin stick shooter they did before, because they've done it 3 times now, right?
Yeah, that's the third.
Okay. It's stupid and way too long. And I think me and Steve both gave up on watching it, but Bob's like, no, I need the lore. So we're just waiting for Bob to skip it so we can fucking play.
Steve watched it with me.
I'm just sitting there in the lobby by myself, and I'm like, why are you watching this terrible animatic? Because it's like a 2D animatic.
It's a 2D animatic. They put this pixel shader over it. It looks terrible.
Some people value storytelling, man.
Every other mode gets the most insane, over-the-top, high-budgeted CGI thing ever, where the zombies mode is just like, we're going to show you 12 minutes of this weird story explaining why zombie Nazis might exist.
While it kicks Steve out of our room continuously.
Yeah, there were a couple finicky problems with the crossplay, but we got it to work eventually. It was funny that we're watching that cutscene and Steve keeps getting knocked out. But anyway, Dead Ops is the worst. I say this as a guy who likes twin stick shooters. It is just the most middle of the road milquetoast possible twin stick shooter. It's like fruitcake. It's like, yeah, it's sweet, I guess. I could eat this.
Fruitcake ain't real.
Guess. You've never had fruitcake?
No, it ain't real.
KZ's a fruitcake truther.
Apparently. We just send some bricks and tell him it's fruitcake.
I've never actually seen like the cartoon fruitcake that's supposedly like a rock.
No?
I mean,
I had
like in real life, I've never encountered it.
grocery stores sell fruitcakes that are kind of like that. I mean, they're not as hard as rocks. I think the meme about the rock comes from people keeping it around too long. I don't know.
I encountered fruitcake like that at family gatherings for Christmas when I was a young child going to Chicago.
I would like to note that Bob's upbringing has a real food meme energy to it, where he's like, what do you mean turkey isn't just supposed to be bad? It's supposed to be as dry as sawdust, isn't it?
Look, at least we got the Chicago deep dish.
Mamma mia.
But yeah, Dead Ops, throw it away. It's useless. It's boring as hell. I'll never be able to drag anyone else into there ever again to check it out. Ugh. Oh yeah, it wouldn't let us play 3-player. It, for some reason, maybe it was the lobby setup that Bob had, but it threw in a random guy on the internet with us.
Yeah, I don't know. There was probably some way to turn to private. I didn't see it.
It's just really dumb because I'm like, okay, we got this random internet guy. That's cool. Also, everyone has a microphone because they have a dual sense, so that's a liability.
Oh no.
It's fine. Whatever. Anyways, that's all I've been playing, Bob. You probably played something I didn't.
Yeah, I finished up the Devil May Cry 5 Virgil mode.
Oh, okay.
So did I.
Cool.
I don't want to spoil anything, but they actually do have unique content at the end of that. So if you start playing it and then feel like you're not getting anything, keep going.
I'm hesitant because I'm like, should I just wait until they put in the variable rate refresh? Will it be better then?
Honestly, I'm going to be frank here. Call of Duty doesn't lock 120 frames per second. It's like 110. At that fast of a refresh rate, you really don't notice.
Yeah,
I know Digital Foundry. I know Digital Foundry's out here.
Yeah, Digital Foundry saying you can totally notice. You notice. I noticed it all over. If Dan is saying that isn't true,
right? Like, I can notice, but it's not that impactful. Like, to be perfectly frank, switching between 120 and 110, that's not noticeable. Dipping down to 70, but that's based on my experience with Call of Duty. I didn't play Devil May Cry 5 at 120 on PS5 yet.
I noticed it a few times, but it was never anything that was like, oh man, this is just not worth playing. It was never that.
Because it's still above, you know.
Yeah, it's still like in 100 or something.
But still, like at the end of the day, if you use variable refresh rate, it's going to look way smoother.
Right.
Just straight up, it's going to look silky fucking smooth, unbelievably so. That's just definitely the case. Because it'll always be frame paced correctly with the TV, and it'll be above 70 frames per second. I think the lowest I've seen it dip was 80, right? In the frame charts or whatever on Devil May Cry.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly.
So. Yeah, but you know, we played it on the Series X at 120 with the variable refresh rate, and it seemed real smooth. Still haven't checked out the PS5. But hey, yeah, you know what? You got a lot of games to play through. Maybe just kick that back until the variable refresh rate update comes out. Speaking of which, I think that was the news. I'll cut it out now. Sony admits they don't want to lose a class action lawsuit, and they will, in fact, be putting in a feature they promised.
I saw that the PS5 update today. I doubted I'd add that, but I can dream.
One moment. I'm updating. They did say this new update improves stability.
Oh, great. That tells us everything we need to know.
Honestly, we need it.
Yes.
Need a new GIF where it's the PS5 being the robot dog that they try to kick, but it still fucking doesn't fall over.
I'm trying to think of what was Bob. You had a oh man, I hate that the PS5 sticks all your notifications when you boot it over the fucking settings icon in the upper right.
That is silly.
It's so dumb. It's brain dead. Anyways, Bob's, you had a critical crash in Black Ops, right? I'm pretty sure you crashed once and we had to wait for you to get back.
Yeah, that was weird. It was just entering a match once and it completely crashed.
Yeah, so, you know, the system needs it.
Yeah, I also had some weird issues with Devil May Cry where it would crash, but then I opened the game up and it's fine. Like, it's exactly where I left it. It didn't actually crash fully.
Virtual's too powerful.
I guess. So I got to play a bit of Legendary Dark Knight mode as Virgil, like, fully leveled up, and that mode is insane. Just how many enemies it can render at once.
He seems made for it.
Yes, he's definitely made for it with his insane moveset, which is OP, is all heck. But yeah, is really crazy. Just how many enemies they can render without really affecting the frame rate. Like it just completely fills rooms. Absolutely to the brim.
Yeah, every time I see someone playing that game, I'm like, video games don't put that many characters on screen. What the fuck?
Yeah, I really hope that we get an optimized Dynasty Warriors at some point.
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be really good. Guys, I don't know how to update my PS5.
Huh.
I believe it's under you go into the settings.
Right. System software. System software update and settings. Okay.
There we go.
My eyes skimmed it, so I just saw system update settings.
There's an update available.
Oh, I guess it installed it while I was in rest mode, of course.
Yeah.
Silly.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
When I loaded mine up this morning, it was like, we got you, bro.
That's pretty much everything I have to about DMC 5. Anything from you, KZ?
No, it was really good. You get into this zen state when you play that game now, where you take out the boss of the area, and then because it's Virgil, will immediately just do a awkward hard cut to him slashing the screen to give you the results.
Yes.
And I just mash through it, and then they're like, all right, we're loading up the next mission. 2 seconds. Start. 2 seconds. You're in. And this feels like, oh, this is a game that's running at 4K and is just as fast as a cartridge from the 90s.
On a highly related note, KZ.
Yeah.
Digital Foundry did a special features video just on Call of Duty Black Ops and showed, the PS5 can load the multiplayer maps in 2 seconds. Unfortunately, since it's crossplay,
give me the Switch. I'll do it in a second.
You have to wait like 30 because people are on PS4s. Like, no.
Looking forward to playing some Crucible and Destiny 2 with some PS4s.
Yeah, not really. We should talk about it here since we're talking about the games anyways. Capcom did that patch to fix KZ's experience with Devil May Cry 5.
They did. And they did. We talked about it last time, but I cut it because within 12 hours the patch went live, and I'm like, nah.
But yeah, before, for people who don't know, if it saw that your TV had a 1080p 120 hertz mode, but not a 4K one, it would force you to 1080p. So KZ wasn't even touching the game because it looked like a potato. It was a lower resolution than it was on the PS4 Pro.
If it could find any way, any mode that had 120 FPS supported, it would just lock it into it no matter what.
Glad they fixed that.
Yeah.
I had a feeling they may fix it because this was in line with the launch for the European version.
Yeah.
Because I saw them tweeting like DMC5 SE is about to hit in Europe, and I'm like, please. I feel like I burned $50 for nothing. Please.
Yeah, I think
we're good now though. So it's fine.
I think I'm just waiting for Sony to implement variable refresh rate, just because I got a huge list of things I got to play. I'm excited for Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. Playing it on launch day for the Series X was great. But yeah,
you got a lot of stuff. You got Demon Souls. I taught you about equip load. You kept refusing to take off your pants.
Yeah, people like KZ's just an internet creep being like, okay, now take off your pants. And I'm like, no, what are you doing?
I'm sorry. I forgot that not everyone knows the Souls culture of, all right, I'm running a night. All right, I am now only wearing gloves and a big sword. Just start running.
I want to use this shield. Time to take off my shoes.
With one more thing with Devil May Cry, I'm trying to figure out how to get the alternate color scheme for Virgil.
Mm-hmm.
And the game just came out. There's not a whole lot of solid information yet, so I have like one thing to go on. Okay, what's up?
It seems like the color is maybe attached to the super mode version of it, so you got to be heaven or hell once.
Okay, that's what I saw for the original game. And then I saw something saying on Son of Sparta mode, you beat all the extra stuff at the ending for Nero. When during the credit play, like you have to do some or kill those things.
Yeah, I watched a video, and then they were like, beat heaven or hell mode, and it gives you the color scheme that's classic Virgil.
Again, I think that's only for original version, but I'm not sure. But it's available for $2 if I break down and do it.
Oh shit, they're selling. I'll buy that now. Bob's like, oh no, I tricked him into paying $2.
All right, that's the only thing I had left for Devil May Cry.
Okay, did you play anything else?
Yes.
What did you play?
Let me see. I booted up Yakuza 0. That game runs great on the PS5. I didn't really play anything other than seeing it runs at 60. I was like, okay, great.
Time to go.
I wonder if Kiwami 2 and 6 run at 60 because they use that engine where you throw a guy through a vending machine and explodes into 800 particles, and then the frame rate becomes like 20.
So on our launch stream, we tested that. It doesn't drop to shit frame rates anymore, but it is capped at 30.
Yeah, for Judgment at least. Which I think people in chat were saying the other two are also locked to 30.
I mean, if it's on that engine, the Dragon engine or whatever, the new one, then yes. As far as I understand, then it's capped.
Yeah, those are also that same engine.
As
I'm
I
wondering if they could
understand,
just patch it.
as I understand, the Dragon engine is maybe criticized by PC gamers for not being very optimized. So yes, in theory, you can run it at higher frame rates.
And then the other thing I got to talk about is that thing that I can talk about was KZ. Are we ready to talk about that?
Yeah, I think we can talk about that.
All right. Hashtag sponsored, technically.
True. Yes, there we go.
Hashtag sponsored, hashtag sellouts.
No, I always believed in money and free things. You're a sellout if it goes against your beliefs. I always want things.
I never had any.
I have beliefs. Those beliefs are in I win, everyone else loses.
My beliefs are in this barbecue sauce I dip my fries in.
I don't want any barbecue sauce. We got 2 copies of Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Yes, that's
myself and Bob played it. That's the new open world Ubisoft game, but this time has an art style.
It isn't going for a realistic look, that's for sure. Has a softer pastel color palette and stuff.
Yeah.
It's neat.
Yeah, Bob, how much did you play?
I probably played like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, it was about 3. I know because I was like, I'm at the end of Call of Duty. There's more than 1. So it ended up being 2.5 hours on my part alone.
Okay. I put in about like 11 hours into this. So, general premise of the game is an evil like bad guy appears. I forget his name now, and I was trying to memorize it like
Typhon.
4 times ahead of this.
Yeah, Typhon.
Okay. Yeah, Typhon was sealed away and has been released and is like sealed up all the gods and like neutered Zeus because Zeus is like, I don't have access to my lightning anymore. And he's talking to, what was it, Prometheus?
Yeah.
He's like, I need you to help me like take out this guy. He's like, how about this? You release me and all that stuff if this human I know that's gonna go on this adventure, if they're successful, just release me and that's fine. He's like, it won't happen though. Humans suck. They're lame.
The only time I like them is when I turn into a goose and try to have sex with them.
These two have a dialogue like it's some sort of shitty sitcom, and that kind of makes me laugh because Zeus just goes, Prometheus, hey, and he's like, you fed my liver to an eagle. And then you just hear the studio applause and your brain go off.
I do like that this fully acknowledges that Zeus is terrible.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, yeah, every 5 minutes, because the whole purpose is just like we mentioned the last time this game came up. It's like that Ratchet and Clank game where Quark is narrating it, but now it's 2 people where Prometheus narrates this with trying to use some level of like kind prose and flowery language. And
He almost
like,
is
this
trying.
is fucking stupid. I'm going to sleep. Stop it.
Yeah, it's almost like he's trying to do the full-on Bastion style narration of being serious, and then Zeus is his comical relief character, and it's pretty terrible.
Yeah, and it happens like constantly, so it's like every few minutes if you're on like the main quest stuff. So in the beginning, they're hammering.
It's pretty nonstop in the beginning, yeah, for sure. To give another like dynamic of this, Prometheus says like Zeus has to end him being chained where he is. If he can prove through the virtue of giving mortals fire through the tail of Phoenix that humans were worth it, because Zeus thinks all mortals are worthless. So if you add that extra layer of like, she did this badass thing, and then he's like, it wasn't badass. I bet it sounds stupid. I'm bored. Want chicken nugget. Like, that's kind of
yeah. There was one really, really good thing right at the beginning, where this game, of course, heavily inspired and cribbing from Breath of the Wild. You hit the first shrine in the game, which are these vaults of Tartarus, which are giant holes with red crystals in them. And you jump in it for the first time, and normally it's just gonna show you going through space, but they fake you out, and Zeus is like, and you died. And then it just starts playing credits with him being credited for everything in the game that was smart and not stupid, and then Prometheus for all the stupid things.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was like creative director, Zeus, producer, Zeus, guy who talks too damn much, Prometheus.
And then it rolls you into the proper like thing, because it does have its own version of shrines that you go through, which all of them have a treasure in it, which is the side objective you can do, and then the main thing, which is some of Zeus's lightning, and then you use that for like upgrades and stuff.
I like that going in and out of the shrines has a loading screen that they put a lot of work into it. Like, you fly around with your wings. It lasts like 5 seconds on the PS5.
It's seriously like 4.5-5 seconds on the PS5, and I laughed so hard. I was wheezing. I was like, these guys put so much effort into this loading screen that basically doesn't exist on PS5.
Yeah, that's the longest loads in this are 5 seconds. It runs great.
Yeah, it
is the most responsive Ubisoft game I think I played in any memory.
Yeah, no, it feels all decent to play, because the animations look terrible, but it makes up for it by feeling okay.
The animation's rough, but I'm willing to tolerate it, because this is the most video game they've made in a very long time.
Okay, you've played it for 10 hours. Does the tooltip for saying, are you stuck? Hit the jump button. Ever go away?
Wait, what?
It never goes away.
Oh
so
God.
what he's saying is, this is their take on Breath of the Wild. So you have stamina. So there is, in fact, the climbing system in this. When you climb, there will be occasional spots where the geometry is clearly designed to make you to maybe jump off it and then like do a double jump to then grab up on a higher spot. If you don't do it immediately, like before you're even gonna reach it, he'll go, you stuck? Here's how you can fix that problem. And I'm like, I've seen it every time.
Yeah, I feel like they need to take that out.
It is the most aggressive like tutorial tooltip I've seen in a long time. You have a lot of different like puzzles and things to do in the open world. Of course, you have those shrines. To get back to them quickly, they're really taking like that Breath of the Wild style. You're gonna go into this small space and do some sort of a challenge. I feel like it handles it. It puts a little bit more into it than those did, because these are a bit more extended. They have like multiple checkpoints and stuff that they expect you to do. Like one of them had me. One of them was like filled with like lasers, and you'd have to use some metal blocks to block the lasers to transport stone bricks across another area, and then like break some of them so that they would be smaller, so that you could put them on buttons that required a light amount of stuff on them or a heavy amount, denoted by like a feather and an anvil. Some have you like shoot arrows from your bow, but you press a button to zoom in and take control of the arrow, so you are the arrow moving around.
Yeah, it's the Heavenly Sword mode.
Yeah. It's the Heavenly Sword mode based on your stamina, and you have to like take it through fire and like hit a target, hit like a torch.
I was so disappointed. I looked through every menu. There's no way to turn on motion controls for that.
Oh
yeah, I was expecting them to do some sort of gyro with that, because they do some stuff with haptics when you're trying to search for things.
They do, and it's kind of baffling the way they use haptics. Or not haptics, but the triggers.
Oh yeah, the adaptive triggers. I could hear them, because for people who don't know, when it engages the adaptive triggers, you can hear that shit from across the room. Bob was looking at a map? What?
Yeah, you look around the area to survey it,
Okay.
and the trigger shakes the nearer you get to something that you can reveal. Which I found out you can just hold the trigger down and really feel it, and it kind of works, but it doesn't tell you to do that at all. And you actually need to release the trigger and then hit it again to actually reveal the thing you slide over. So it's very strange that they use the triggers for that, and not just the
haptics. Yeah, the motion or the rumble. For people who don't have a PS5, the adaptive triggers. If you're not pushing or holding a button down, how would you feel the resistance being pushed against it? Like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's strange.
Yeah, and priming your bow also will do like a slight like kick to that trigger to be like, yeah, you've done it. And I'm like, wish you did a little bit more with this, but I feel something here at all. I feel like an effort's being made.
I like that they're making an effort. I think that the revealing thing is neat. It should have probably explained it properly.
Yes, I think they were too focused on if you were stuck while climbing up a cliff.
Yeah.
Which clearly is the biggest shortcoming this game could have.
We were talking about the animations looking bad.
Uh-huh.
It wouldn't bother me much if it didn't extend to the cutscenes, where I was telling Dan, I think that I'm playing as a Sims character.
See,
See,
and he says a Sims character, right? And I say, like, it looks like the Madagascar cartoon, like the CGI one, like the TV series, not the movie, where you see them snap between various positions kind of quickly in a way that doesn't exactly look polished. It's really weird.
I don't know how to describe the main character designs in this, but you look at the general art style and the look of the game that's going for not fully like Breath of the Wild look, but more of a cartoony pastel like visuals. But then you look at your character and it looks off. It looks like 2005 MMO character, or like below like DreamWorks level character design, where it just looks off. It doesn't feel like it fully fits.
Which are you playing as? Are you playing as a guy or a girl?
The girl.
Okay.
Yeah, the guy looked even worse. Like, he looked really uncanny.
See, Bob says that, but I could have had handlebar mustache. So, like, I don't know.
You can do that with the girl, too.
So can the girl.
Okay.
No worries.
Okay, that's great, actually.
they have a good joke where it was like a guy or a girl in regards to something, and Prometheus is like, that's wrong. He's like, oh, non-binary. I get it. I'm with it.
I just the beards are the worst, because the type of hair doesn't match the type of hair that goes on their head at all.
But see, that's great,
Yeah,
because it looks like they're using a terrible wax on their hair.
I just took it as it's a tape on beard.
The tone of this game's insane. Where it's like it's a serious story, but sometimes they're like saying hip references in a way where the way they speak feels a bit more current at times. And just all the animations you do in your base, which is like this hub. I don't know if you hit that yet.
Yes, I got to the hub, which is those are pretty good. I think her lifting weights is hilarious.
Excuse me, what?
Okay, so they of course needed some lavish animation for each thing you do. So you end up hitting that hub, and there's like a cauldron to like mix in your potions based on things that you find in the area. But then there's the stamina one. And the stamina one is you working out and using multiple charges of Zeus's lightning, all of which you find through specialty quests or in those shrines, in those vaults. And it's just lifting barbells, hitting a punching bag, getting out your ye old Bowflex. And it's just, it's a really involved. Yeah, it's like a lavish, like 15-second animation to go. You have one more extra charge on your stamina now.
You know what? Maybe I will play as a guy then, because I could probably make a John Bastow-esque looking person.
Oh my god.
But they put a lot of personality in it, where my character was yawning while attempting to like hit a punching bag and like missing it. Opening chests, I've seen I think 8 different unique chest opening animations.
I only saw
everything from like lifting her leg all the way up and slamming her heel onto the top of the chest to open it, to slapping on it like bongos, or one time when she punched it and just hurt her hand and then just opened it real limply afterward.
That's really weird. I've only seen 3. It felt like it repeated the same 3 over and over again.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten at least like 6 or 7.
Weird. I need to play more. Apparently need to see more of these opening animations.
But real quick, I'm going to poke with some questions, like, because we've been talking a lot of visuals, a lot of trappings. Moment-to-moment combat, like engaging enemies in combat, does that feel pretty good, Bob?
It feels pretty decent. It's trying to be a Devil May Cry sort of thing where you have a launcher and that sort of stuff, but it's not nearly deep enough to really justify it. I'm hoping that things keep expanding out. It looks like there is a decent number of moves in the menu, but I don't know if it's going to remain fun. You also have the dodge thing like in Bayonetta. Dodge
so it slows down time. Yeah, okay.
And then
you get that immediately.
Yeah,
you got your normal attack with R1 using a sword. You've got your heavy, which is an axe, and then of course you have your cooldown moves. The magnesis that they lifted from Breath of the Wild is really funny, where you hit it and it's in 2 states, being pulled to you and it's white, but once you have full control of it, it transitions to yellow. And I was like, oh, okay, there's going to be some fun physics things. And then you realize that the main purpose of this, when you're not doing a puzzle, is to get a big rock and throw it at the thing's fucking head. And it just shatters an enemy's poise or kills them almost instantly.
That does seem neat. You do need to unlock the skill to auto home on enemies, I noticed, which would help a lot.
I picked that up so I could just do the quick throw even on the big stuff, which helped out quite a bit, especially when you run into like some roaming legendary enemies in a way where they have their own boss health bar, and it's like I just want to throw this big rock at them to shatter their guard, because they have like poise or stamina or whatever, and once you break through it, they're stunned for a while. And then you get to like layer on a bunch of attacks. You can transition into your stuff pretty well. So you're like mashing out an R1 or an R2 combo. And then you can just hold L1 and hit one of your cooldown moves, like the stinger charge it has that's like a multi-hit, or the pull out the giant cartoon hammer. All of that transitions really well. So it feels like I can really control things through combos and stuff.
I think they set up the button scheme really badly in this game.
Yes, I feel like binding everything to L1 makes it a problem a little bit.
Yeah, there's a ton of weird overlap with the L1 button. They, for some reason, did the Dark Souls thing of R1 and R2 for the attacks, and all the like movement stuff on the face pad. And it's like, this game is mostly about exploration. I'd want that exploration stuff on the R1, R2, and all the combat stuff on the face buttons, because the combat's the less important part about this game. And you don't need to control the camera because the camera locks on when you lock onto somebody. So it's really strange.
Yeah, I don't understand putting everything forced into L1. I've had a couple of moments where I end up pressing the wrong thing and doing a completely wrong input. And I'm still trying to get the timing of the parry in this game, which is basically you pulling out your sword and spinning it like a giant fan.
Yeah, you need to be.
But once I got the timing, I kind of like worked a boss. It does end up working out, because it does a little bit of damage, messes with their stamina, and gives you a bunch of stamina back, which is really needed, because all of your like cooldown moves are tied to your stamina meter.
There's also there's some bonuses you can get with your weapons. Like I have an axe that gives me extra damage for everything when I parry something. So I use my sword, even though I got the axe ability that does that. Also, it's super strange. They give you this like explanation for your special sword and your special axe at the beginning of the game, and you immediately start replacing them.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Dude, they do have a glamour system where you hit square on any piece of gear and you can switch it to whatever other piece of gear you own. So if you don't like the look of something, but you like the benefit, like stamina regen in the air is faster, or the default armor that just says you have an extra stamina chunk right from the start.
Right.
You can, but you like the look of something better. And I feel like I'm getting new gear pretty regularly. You find a lot of it in those vaults as the optional piece of treasure, and they seem to like all be parts of full sets.
It's also super strange that you level up all of your swords, or all your axes at once. It's like you don't invest in a single weapon and power it up. You power up that type of weapon or that type of armor.
I appreciated that because I don't want to be that inconvenienced in a game that's this big, because all of their games have to be this big. So I would rather not have this thing of this will incentivize me to maybe try out different stuff.
Right.
I don't have to worry about
I
being
don't think
inconvenienced.
I don't think it's bad. I just think it's interesting that they did that. I think
I might like this open world a bit better than like a lot of their other ones, just because one, the art style I think is better, the presentation and how it game feels a lot better on this, and I think the combat's better than even like Valhalla, which came out. They have a lot of really good activities in the open world that you can do, like different trials. Like one of them is an arrow one where there's a bunch of axes strewn about on the ground that have a ring on their hilt, and it's all about shooting through the rings, and it's kind of like it's a test course of you trying to get the arrow through all of them in like a challenge. And at the very end, your arrow catches on fire, so they end up lighting up each time you do it, and you have to hit a torch at the end. I thought that was a neat little challenge. They also have slide puzzles.
Yes, I know it's the slide puzzle. It just found it randomly in the open world and was like, that's kind of neat.
Yeah, that's one of the ones they have there. They have one based on hearing music in the world in specific spots, then playing it on a giant, I think it's called lyre, and you actually remember. Just like have to like replicate the music. I did not get into that at all, but I saw that was one of them. And just some other stuff, like there's pearls that you can pick up and you have to place them in slots, and
let's not forget you need to climb a tower and reveal the area.
Yes, you do in fact need to do that, but I think there's going to only be like 6 of them in the whole game, given how the place is like split up.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not like you need to do this constantly. And yeah, it's got your little quest things. I got through the first major quest line in the game because they're like sealed gods. So I unsealed the first god, which ended with you doing a vault that's like 4 times longer than the other ones and is like a more of a main dungeon thing.
Huh.
That ended with a boss, and that one was like you've got to take down giant like fruits, I guess, that have this corrupted like thorns all around, so you can't progress. And completing this area will make it so that they can be exposed, and you shoot an arrow through a torch and careen it toward it, and then it burns it. And I feel like it layers on some things that are in Breath of the Wild and does them better. But in other systems like climbing, it's worse.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a weird trade-off, but it also doesn't have weapon breaking, so that's also a plus in its corner.
I feel like Breath of the Wild is this weird thing where to me it's a complete package where everything feels pretty good.
Yeah.
And like say the magnesis in this game feels pretty bad in a lot of ways, whereas that it feels very smooth.
Yeah. Breath of the Wild's doing a lot more limited things than this game is, but it's succeeding at all of it because it's a much more limited scope in mechanics, I guess. This is trying to do a little bit more, and some of it handles pretty well. I feel like the general shrine like variety has been better. I feel like I'm paying attention a bit more, and also they're a decent bit longer at times.
Yeah, I need to play more of it because every shrine I've played so far in this has been like kind of brain dead, whereas I felt like the Zelda ones made me think at least half the time.
Mm-hmm. This doesn't really have a lot of those insane physics puzzles where it's like, now you're going to shoot this thing onto the catapult. This kind of has some of that, but not in an insane amount. Thank God it doesn't have that fucking flip the board with the gyro.
No, that's genius. Don't. If I want to play with my Switch upside down, I'll play with my Switch upside down.
Oh, God, I one of my favorite things in Breath of the Wild was just completely circumventing that maze by turning it upside down.
It's genius. I want to talk about the elephant in the room here, the comparison to Genshin Impact, and how Genshin kind of makes this a joke. Like the animation Genshin, like I booted it up right after I played Immortals. It looks immaculate.
I was like, God fucking damn it.
Also,
I never even thought about Genshin.
We talked about the Real Money shop.
Yeah, you hit the touchpad, you hit down, and you're already in a shop. They're like, buy the season pass, buy some Electrum, I think it is, to buy things.
Yeah. See, that's weird in a $60 video game. Genshin's a free game.
Makes sense that I've spent $850 on Genshin so far.
Not to worry, Bob. I'm pretty sure every Assassin's Creed since Origins has that shop in that menu.
Oh, I know. It's just that
because Odyssey and Valhalla just have that.
That shop should be exiled. It should not be in this game. But yeah, no, just this. Everything about the look of Genshin Impact is so immaculate compared to this, and I feel like the climbing feels better. So for me, it's like Zelda, Genshin, then down to Immortals.
That's what I was going to ask, if the climbing felt better in Genshin, because I know the combat in that looks pretty neat.
The combat's going for something way more unique.
Right.
Whereas, like, the Immortals one's like, I'm watered down action game tropes. Whereas Genshin's like, here's a bunch of weird elemental stuff and a really simple combat system around it, but the elemental stuff's interesting enough to get you excited.
Right.
Like, they clearly have action game influences here. One of your upgrades is, like, use the Magnesis as Buster. So you can just, like, shoot yourself to a bird enemy and start comboing.
Yeah, clearly it just wants to be Devil May Cry, and it doesn't feel quite as good as it should for that.
But let's put this in another way, Bob. Okay? Is this the most you've enjoyed a Ubisoft game in a very long time?
Yes!
Okay, so
this is still, like, the best one since they stopped making Prince of Persia.
God, that...
Yeah, I'm with you. That, like, their open world romps, I'm like, activate that thing in my monkey brain to make me go, yes, obtain more treasure and wealth and things, build up my settlement. But this, in terms of, like, exploring a world, feels great because it's not realistic world. It's cartoon like Golden Island place. I enjoy, like, looking at the architecture and, like, exploring caves and looking at a puzzle and not understanding for 25 minutes what I'm supposed to do, staring directly at a cracked wall where they're like, just hit R1, Casey! But I refuse. And then I figure it out and I go, this is why I shouldn't play games before launch.
See, this is this is payback for you being like, now, Dan, I want you to pull out your shield and walk around behind them. And I'm like, okay, I'll look into that. And then I didn't even try it once for an hour and a half.
That was okay. That is not comparable because the game never tells me to press R1. I floated the suggestion to you at least 5 times. And past that point, I'm like, it's not happening.
I'm like,
he's gonna keep trying to parry this guy, and we're just gonna have to respect it.
Yeah, I've been up for a day straight, but I swear in this state, it's the perfect time to figure out the time for parrying.
Time is good.
Whatever. You were up for a day straight, but still managed in your first sitting to at least beat Tower Knight, which 1 is impressive. 2, your reaction to the Tower Knight was probably perfect. Because it was you screaming, holy shit, this boss already, you hit it. I do no damage, which I'm like, oh yeah, everyone doesn't know how Tower Knight works. This would be scary.
Yeah, the thing that shocked me most in that moment, and I'm not sure I even vocalized it, you could only see like a fourth of the bastard.
Yes, you only see his ankles and the bottom of his shield at any one time.
It sounds so bad, I had no idea.
Imagine that with PS3 performance.
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
Thank you.
But yeah, I'm pretty positive on this so far. Now, again, I'm going to edit this as soon as possible, so on the off chance the game breaks and it becomes unfinishable, I don't have to record a post segment about how the fucking Ubisoft, this company, has ruined my life yet again.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't feel like it's like that sloppy.
I assume it's not going to come in hot like Valhalla. I mean,
yeah,
the thing...
it's been
yeah,
like
this was a new IP, so they didn't have to ship it.
You know, I don't think you guys mentioned it. This is running on the Anvil engine, isn't it?
Yeah, which is bizarre. I did not expect that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that either. For people who don't know,
it runs great.
Runs
great,
Anvil engine.
loads fast. no patches or no crashes rather.
Oh, is that just
Feels-
the engine Ass Creed uses? Okay.
No.
No, it's
it's not?
It started with
The Division.
The Division. God, these names. I was like, it's not Watch Dogs.
I
it's
know
the
the
other one.
recent one uses Anvil at least.
But
yeah,
yeah,
I'm looking
I
at
was-
the Wikipedia page, and it says every single Ass Creed since Unity.
Yeah,
is
but I
using
was
Anvil
just
next 2.0.
I was just gonna say that, like, you know, it started with that, so it's really weird to think about it, like it made its way all the way from, you know, the Division to this,
Right.
Which is funny because the game runs, you know, at 60 on PS5 in performance mode.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird seeing a large Ubisoft world run smooth.
I just hope they keep they keep straying in this direction where it's not all Fractal Mace Tom Clancy stuff, not all realistic looking things. So some stuff like this is nice, because despite the fact that this game is sometimes insufferable as it tries to give you a joke every 2.5 minutes at times when you're on the main path, I do enjoy that it's doing that. It's doing something a little bit different, a bit goofier, a bit more video gamey and stuff like that.
When they write too
I've
many
had it.
jokes and you just run into them before they finish the last joke, it's really bad. It's like,
That is impressively bad.
It's like, how did you expect me to go like these 2 steps without triggering these 2 things happen?
One time I hit the touchpad when Zeus was going in for a joke, and I'm like, not this time.
You aren't getting away with this time, Zeus.
You can't find me in here.
Yeah, I was like, maybe there should be a toggle in the settings that says no jokes.
I actually...
You were wrong. It's like, I hope this isn't the premise for this game, Bob said 4 big thing dimensions ago when he played the demo.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we forgot to talk about the comparison with the Stadia. Bob, how does this compare to the Stadia demo that you played?
I feel like I'm playing and looking at a video game.
Oh wow, that's great.
You said, and I quote, there is a full second of input lag.
Yeah, that Stadia version's miserable. It's really nice to be able to see everything I'm playing and for me to be able to interact with that, because this is a game we've been over. Actually requires a lot of timing. It has parries. It has perfect dodges. It does not want to screw around.
It might have the most strict timing in any Ubisoft game I played in like 10 years.
Yeah, probably.
For like parries, because I came off Assassin's Creed. That thing, at least on PS4, runs, you know, at half the frame rate, but also it's an Assassin's Creed game. So they're like, whatever, hit the parry button 2 fucking seconds before the attack's even coming and you will still somehow parry this. Here it's like, no, we're a real video game.
I also find it very funny when you kill almost anything, it flies comically into the background and you just yeet them away. Sometimes they hit trees and explodes.
Everything.
Yeah. That's probably one of my favorite parts of the game. Because you kill a bear, he's huge. He just flies away like he's made of paper.
Like he gets Destiny ulted with the fucking Warlock Supernova.
Yeah.
Their version of enemies is fucking the Typhon fucking corrupts things. So it's just a bear with red energy veins.
Yeah, it's the bear from Days Gone.
God, that had a really stupid name too. It was like Ravager.
Fuck off.
It also has daily quests and stuff, which I found surprising.
Yeah. I think the Assassin's Creed also has that, where they're like, "Yeah, keep playing." I'm like, you know what? Sure, let me just cash in these bounties, because they're basically like bounties, like kill these things for the day. And I'm like, sure, give me stuff. I picked up like a God's Boon, because you got like 4 gods you have to unseal. I think it was Aphrodite, and her first boon that she gives you is just you have auto life on a 20-minute cooldown.
Huh.
Felt real good to just get all my health back. But yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say about it at this point.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
It was too much probably, but hey, it was interesting.
It's fine. It's a brand new, exciting game.
That's fine. We canceled the news segment for this week, so what do you got going on next week?
Hey, also, we didn't even talk about what I played.
What did you play?
Shit!
Wait, did KZ not play anything other than Phoenix?
Oh yeah, I also played Devil May Cry, but we covered that.
Yeah, we covered that. We covered that. Hey, Phil, how's it going?
I only have one thing. I have to talk about Zero Escape: Virtue's Last Reward.
Oh no, maybe I should leave.
a video game I completed.
Now I've heard that the man who made that is not a hack at all.
That's wrong. He might be the biggest hack in the world. I'm gonna keep this. I'm not gonna talk about story beats really, because if some fucking person wants to experience this shit, who am I to take that away from them?
I highly recommend it.
I do not. Now, the first game in this series, 9 persons, 9 hours, 9 doors. That was a very nice mystery series. It was very grounded in reality. I mean, not really grounded in reality, but it was plausible.
Yeah.
And then near the end, like it feeds in this like, oh, this spooky thing is happening, or like this unnatural thing is happening. And it works very well. Virtue's Last Reward just flies off the fucking rails and go immediately. And so it's much less cool because it's more upfront about it, unlike 999. That when you get one of the big twists in 919, or rather the gimmick, you're like, oh, that's really cool. And in this, there is no, oh, that's really cool. It's, what the fuck's wrong with you?
I had the reverse reaction where I'm like, oh, you're doing that thing early. Good. That's the part where I almost started getting more engaged. This is wonderful news for me.
Structurally, this game is a lot worse. It's structured maybe as poorly as you could structure a game like this. Because the way it's structured, you have to see the exact same things explained and happen over and over and over. And because the dialogue is very slightly different, on eeach version of the same thing that you've seen, you can't hit the fast forward until I get to new content button.
I'm imagining the version of 13 Sentinels. It's really bad.
Another big problem with it is it has what I call mobile visual novel disease. Where the developers seem to think you're going to play for 15 minutes every 2 weeks. So they are constantly flashing back to shit you already saw, including stuff that happened as recently as 1 minute ago.
Yes.
Like in the same conversation, someone will say something at the start of a conversation. You will get 2 minutes further into that conversation, and then it will cut. You'll get like the anime flashback where it's grayscale. It's like, and the read has a filter on it now.
I'm trying to remember some I play. Persona 5 does that. Because I remember like commentating like, they showed this shit 2 minutes ago. You didn't even give me a space to save. I don't know why you're showing it to me again.
It has much better puzzles, at least, because in the first game the puzzles were just like fucking whatever. Click on everything. You now have all the items. Click on everything again. You'll put them in the right place. This game has much better puzzles, and some of them are incredibly evil. Or it's like,
yeah.
Or it's like, here's a picture of a table with 4 colored dice on it. And the table's a grid. Roll the dice so they match at every angle in the spots they're supposed to be in.
God, that is the worst fucking puzzle in that game.
I glided through it, but it was pure luck. But yeah, the story is just really fucking bad. There's and it's all packed in to the last like couple hours, like the last 5 or 6 hours of it. And this game is like 40 fucking hours long, by the way.
Whoa.
It's
luckily
doubled the length of 999 going by my.
Not 999 is shorter. 999 is like maybe 15 hours, maybe, and then apparently the last game in the series is also of a similar length to that. Unlike this, which is just a giant monstrosity. But there are so many contrivances packed into the last couple hours. And none of them are cool or clever. A lot of them come off as like, this is a plot hole. Here's 3 contrivances to make it not a plot hole.
Yeah, it's 3 hours of that, and also saying, please buy our next game that totally didn't get canceled and rebooted.
There's also just the problem of thankfully the real ending doesn't do this, because I would have quit. I would have been like, sorry, this game gets a 0 if it had done it to me. But the endings, the game is voice acted during the important parts. It's not voice acted during, like, when you're in the room and the characters say something stupid. When you're in the escape rooms. But when you get a character-specific ending, it goes, this is too much dialogue. Money is now off. Read 10 pages of text explaining my entire backstory.
And it's like 10 very big pages. It's like you're going to be reading for like 15 minutes.
Also, the game looks really bad because apparently Kotaro Uchikoshi, director and creator of Zero Escape, was not aware that the 3D features in the 3DS, may it burn in hell. He thought you had to have 3D assets to use it.
What?
That is a thing.
So the game went from, like, being a visual novel where it had rather good looking sprites, characters, and backgrounds to some of the worst 3D models you have ever seen.
Also, they didn't make enough for one character, so every time something serious or something bad happens to her, she's smiling.
Oh no, that's a bug.
That bug has existed since it came out. I'm gonna say they just didn't make one because it never gets fixed. Ever.
Some versions don't have it though. But I mean, this is also the game where some versions were like, if you save during the puzzle segments, your save breaks. Our solution is to disable saving during the puzzle segments. But yeah, I'm very scared that this experiment I'm undergoing, where I play the Zero Escape games, is going to have the reverse trajectory of Danganronpa, which started at mid and became spectacular, where it's going to be, this started pretty good. Oh no, we're now going into hell.
I don't know, the third one's really good.
Didn't you like the second one?
No, I think KZ's relatively ambivalent on it.
I'm ambivalent, but I like the gimmick that these games do in the later ones.
I think the main thing I've heard is that people like the third one because it's just it's bad to the point of comedy.
Well, here's my perspective on why I think you might like it. All the people that are really, really into the story of these games hate this one because it ruined everything. So I feel like you might just like it. Also, abandons the main flowchart format of the other two games.
Yeah, I was told about that. Thank fucking God.
Yeah, it instead does something that's a bit more suited for a linear video game, I feel. And also, you get to see what Kotaro Uchikoshi, his attempt at making a Telltale game.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done talking.
He directly said he was inspired by Telltale, so whenever you play that, just think of that in the back of your head.
You know what I'm inspired by?
What?
The Podlords.
Whoa! Oh, fuck!
We finally got to them after 2 hours.
Oh, fuck! I'm gonna die!
Yes, that's right. The Podlords. Podlords such as Danny Richardson, E. Lee Broyles. Third birthday when? Corey Brown. Red Blaze 27. Kinda Juice. And Kinda Frost.
Kinda.
Suzu Shiro. Emperor Zero. Shibuya Gato, your local Tweewy fan who is eating good tonight. Knifeville 2, aggro Jim Ratgazer gets sent to the past to kill Doug before he can create Radical Gex. What a nightmare of a Podlord name every week.
All right.
It's fine.
Thank you, Zero Escape.
Yeah, it's Zero Escape's fault.
Okay, now you tell me how to explain the difference between the Series X and the 1X to an angry drunk.
Oh my god!
Dobo gets the Series X, but he can't download any smart delivery game. So he has to drink a bunch of cough syrup and jump off the ceiling fan to hallucinate Gears 5.
Yes.
I don't remember the jumping off the ceiling fan thing at all. The dark times.
I miss Dobo.
He'll return. Matty Moe, Podlord porn auteur?
Let's
assume.
stop that before it starts, please.
You know, I sure would like a PS5 sometime before 2021, but that's not likely now, is it? Statistically speaking, no. I think it's like 3 mil are gonna get produced by then, but who knows? We'll talk about that later. Xbox Series G. I think we got the jump on our Podlords this week. Because this is the same Busey from last week.
It's a good Busey.
It's really good.
We could change what we do at any time.
True, we are in fact recording earlier. Sorry.
Sorry, yeah, we're not recording on Thanksgiving. We're not
In
that.
exchange, this will be the longest podcast in the past 4 months.
The only one who can bring the Series X to its knees. And then it's back for Mighty Number 9. WTF Spider-Man.
How dare you, Spider-Man?
You lied to me, Spider-Man.
Yeah, when you find out Spider-Man lied to you.
I'm gonna make a podcast about you.
Bob is pogging for last time as a podlord. I just wanted the image again.
Really good.
The Dark Souls font is killing me.
Yeah, it's really the thing that puts it all together.
Yes, it really is.
The Pog
Can you imagine
Lord.
he hits the face, it freezes. Poggers.
Yes, exactly.
Do I then evaporate?
Yes.
Yeah. Looks really good on PS5.
Devil Summoner Raido Kuzunoha versus Digital Devil Saga Switch Edition.
This is the fake one.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's
You know,
too early.
That's me.
I'm Cromdo Face from the future. Don't trust Raido Kuzunoha versus Digital Devil Saga Switch Edition.
How does it feel you have to say that fucking thing like 4 times this section?
Occasionally, when I'm playing video games, I just stare out into space and think about, you know, Devil Saga Switch Edition. DFW3K Muckbine. Shiny Mew has found cheerwine at a nearby store. The big thing to mention, boys, have acquired yet another vessel.
Add lemon.
Yeah, add lemon. It's really good. Santi Kunai. KC is glowing with Twewy energy.
Saying it like that makes it really twooey. Ooh woo.
The Merchant Tonberry's got a lot of rare things on sale, stranger.
Oh god.
Can you give me one of those 3D headsets? I need one.
I'm sorry, but you can only get this PS5 if you can shoot 15 PlayStation icons around this
Barn.
Yeah, in the barn over a cliff.
Devil Summoner Raido Kuzunoha versus Digital Devil Saga Switch Edition. Brandon Hannebarger has returned from the grave with a fistful of cash to reclaim his place amongst the Podlords.
Raw.
I'm sorry I forgot to change my Podlord name last week. Please forgive.
Should have saved that for next week.
Skyfire Hero might have to stop being a Podlord. Much sadness. Still okay. Don't worry about it. Kyle Bjork. The sentence doesn't make any sense with the voice anymore, but it's still the voice from Scalper. It's still the picture from Scalpers Get the Rope, so I'm gonna read it like that. Anyway. Ghost movie, but the ghost noises are just Mr. Field taking psychic damage.
You're just walking through.
This is really fucking haunted. It's Jim Ratgazer. He's like, shut the fuck up, ghost. Apple Gothic, the Scythe Mistress. Zilter. Zasterder and the Birds of the Apocalypse. You know, Zilter, you seem to be sandwiched here. You should probably go with the metal album theme. The PS5 is out right now, in theory.
In theory.
Just ask Wario 64 about it.
He's still making them.
Kyrie's wrists are now strong enough to carry the PS5 package.
He worked hard.
Pictured, Capcom finding the ones behind the leak. It's a GIF, but I chose the best part of it.
You did.
Oh, I know what that GIF is, too.
It's really good. Okay, thank you for this. I will make these sounds. Blig de blue, schligs de poo.
Don't cast a spell.
This one almost slipped past me. I swear they updated it just now. Dobo Orochi.
Yes. That's so perfect.
Oh, man. Craig Goss. Karaoke does exist, but it's not as epic and funny in Like a Dragon. This may be the funniest podlord. 1 week, you're probably right about it not being that bad, feel. Anyway, Zorofab sends his regards. Yeah, it seems pretty all right.
I've been thinking about this.
That's
I've been
it.
thinking about this the whole time. I'm like,
They
we
did.
record 1 day early.
Early and it's over.
Gotcha, bitch.
Now Phil has something to be thankful for.
Crime Man, thanks you for entertaining me when I was homeless. That's what we're here for. Entertaining crime mans.
Yeah.
That guy rewatching Symphogear Meteoroid falling, burning, disappearing, and then Gale? I preferred the podlord name that was Pyron 55 suffers through Godfall while the brain spiders hold him at gunpoint. Send help, GigaBoots.
Man, even mine aren't that bad.
I'm so sorry that you have to go through this.
You don't know if they're that bad till you pick up Godfall, Phil.
Bob, don't you?
Oh, no, don't worry. Fucking $70. Fuck that.
Yeah, you got Genshin Impact right over there.
Yeah, it's true.
Ain't no waifus in
$70 I can
Godfall.
spend on Genshin Impact.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
Hey, man, might get more value.
Yeah.
It's random, though, so who knows?
No, it's fine.
Even-
All I have to do is spend $180 and then it isn't random.
Correct.
Let's say, hypothetically, that you cannot kill me, okay? And if you cannot kill me, then hypothetically, I am Omega.
You know, he makes some really good points, but why is Dante so small?
It's not to scale.
Ah, okay.
And Cooper Tag, thank you very much to our podlord.
Thank you, Podlords.
Thank you.
Is that real? Was that the real end?
Yeah, that's a real end.
We made
Thank you,
it.
Podlords.
Thank you. Thank you.
And if you'd like to become a Podlord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcast. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to many benefits, such as early access to cursed content. Man, I fucking ran over myself on this one, huh?
I didn't even do anything.
Such as early access to Chugging Bleach and Mondo Cool, our 2 anime review podcasts. Total access to Cursed Content by Committee, our Patreon exclusive Cursed Content show, and Cursed Content Club commentary tracks. Cursed Content by Committee comes with a commentary track also. Extended armchair dev pitches where we actually reveal our ideas without trying to hurt each other, and other benefits. That's patreon.com/GB podcast.
Let's get into this fucking news.
We only got a couple things.
I'm half of the news document.
Nice. Take it back, Dan.
I got scared when I wake up and you're like, I had some stuff that I'm gonna put on the news when I get here. It was like 8 links or something.
See, the problem is I do most of my browsing while I'm trying, allegedly, to fall asleep. So I'm not at my fucking computer and Google's like, download Google Docs app. It'll still suck. And I'm like, no. Okay, I already talked about the smart delivery conundrum. Thank God I don't have to talk about that again. Everyone who's tweeting me, just stop referencing Xbox, okay? Thank you.
I had several people ask me, hey, is that problem solved? And I'm like, hey, no, thanks for making me think about the thing that's very upsetting. Thank you.
Don't make me think
just
about
go ahead,
Xbox.
Never tweeted Dan about the two following subjects, Xbox and Mike Z.
Yes, actually, it's been a rough week for my notifications. Anyways. So, Microsoft announced that they are going to turn Xbox into a TV app within 12 months. I want to check back on this November 25th of next year to see if they deliver on that. Because I always think that's a lot more complicated than they think it is. So here's the two ways this can go. Either, A, they can actually manage a way to either get the controller to directly connect to your router and then the cloud, which seems very difficult. Or they need to put out a different controller that can do that because TVs don't have controllers, right? Like, your TV's not going to hook up to a fucking Xbox controller. That doesn't fucking work.
What if this version just doesn't have the share button? So it's just like a worse controller again.
Standing from where I am with the DualSense, it would barely make any difference.
It's not fair. You can't compare it.
Yes, I can, because I own both. And one of these controllers I've owned for years, but now has the share button. It? No!
And
Stop
doesn't it also have worse bumpers?
The new one has better bumpers because they don't seem to break as easily, but we'll have to see.
Right, better build quality at least.
Yes. In some ways, this controller's better than the last one, but it's only very marginally so. Microsoft trying to talk up the incredibly minor difference was insane. Anyways, moving on. Phil Spencer, a regular on this podcast, has said in a recent interview, we started manufacturing late summer. We were a little bit later than the competition because we were waiting for some specific AMD technology in our chip. We were a little bit behind where they were, where Sony was. In terms of building units, we started in late summer. This is a full direct quote.
They revealed their box like 6 months earlier.
Yes. This is funny given the bizarre narrative I saw a bunch of incredibly fanboy YouTubers spin up where, oh man, the PS5's coming in hot. And it's like, no, apparently the manufacturing on the series consoles was coming in hot.
No, that's true. Sony came in hot. Microsoft came in on fire.
As a guy who can't download his fucking games, I have to agree because saying anything else would be disingenuous.
Yours burned up in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I really wonder how many people are affected by that issue and just they're fine with constantly hitting a refresh button.
Yeah, I have no idea. So few people own Series X's, and the people who do a lot of the time are game journalists. And I've heard stories from people who I won't name where journalists and other YouTubers they follow that have Series X's have tweeted about critical problems they've had and then deleted the tweet because fanboys were paying too much attention.
I can't tell people that the Series X has a problem because people might tell other people it has a problem, but for the wrong reason.
Yes, that's literally what they're going with, and that's infuriating. This is along the same line as I saw people saying, you know, cross-console comparisons on Digital Foundry are bad, and they're fueling fanboy wars. And I'm like, no, it's information. What people do with it is their own fucking thing, but learning about these consoles is objectively a good thing. Like, otherwise, you have to take Microsoft at their word that their system's more powerful. Like, if it is more powerful, which, you know, as we've said multiple times, they may fix their SDK and it may become the more powerful system, then that's worth taking into account when you buy the box. But without objective analysis, we don't know. We just have to trust these manufacturers on their words. So, Digital Foundry's...
I like words.
Yes, you do. Digital Foundry's work is really important. So, the article from The Verge that went into this, which was written, let me see. I don't think it was Tom Warren, but let me check. Yes, this one was written by Tom Warren. Is called why is the PS5 outperforming, quote, the world's most powerful console, end quote. It is mostly regurgitating the results of the Digital Foundry videos that have been cross-console comparisons. It points out that Microsoft waited a little bit too late for the full RDNA 2, and the article points out they haven't exactly made it. They haven't explained why that fucking matters. Like why full RDNA 2, the thing they're bragging about in their marketing, will matter for games at all.
Still don't know what it is. I don't think it's real.
God. I could explain what it is, but I'm not the one touting it as important, so I don't have a moral impetus to.
You're not a stockholder. You have no need.
Related to this, Phil Spencer said in the same gigantic interview, because he had a podcast interview with a member of The Verge, and a number of articles came out based on that interview, which is an hour and 12 minutes.
Ooh.
And I have not had time to
This ain't fair, all right?
I haven't had time to listen to it yet. I just got to read the articles.
Stop doing interview. He's going on podcasts. Those can have endless words.
I mean, you heard me read that thing just now. That whole statement drives around in circles. But anyways, Phil Spencer said he hates console wars. And he says it's the worst part of this industry is people who fanboyishly pile up between one of the consoles. He says this while him and his marketing department has been touting the Xbox Series X as the most consistently powerful console all year, has full RDNA 2, which matters for some reason, and also the no boost mode insanity. So
okay, the no boost mode thing, stop reminding me of it. It's the funniest thing they've done.
Don't forget the thing where they bragged about not being able to remove the stand.
I forgot about that. They bragged that on the Series X, the stand is just permanently pasted to the side of it.
So it makes it real easy to just flip it over.
I don't know why people are putting out the console war thing as news. He said this shit for like 4 years now.
Yes, he has.
It's like, this isn't new. He announced it again. Yeah. He announced his take.
He also clarified from earlier this year when he said that his competition wasn't Sony or Nintendo, it was Stadia and Amazon. He's changed it. Now his competition is no one.
He literally said that. I was like, Phil, there's no fucking way he said that. I looked and he literally...
Real?
Yeah.
See, you see, KZ, he's not trying to beat anybody. His actual he just wants to make sure people are engaged with Xbox, which means
why are they turning their brand image into soft boy?
I mean, I'm okay with the soft boy brand image. The problem is their marketing doesn't mesh with that at all.
Yeah.
The problem is you can't sit here and be like, our console has biggest penis, and then they're like, penis size doesn't matter.
I'm just saying the Xbox Twitter account spoke very highly of Gundam Seed today, so I don't know. I don't know if that's going to feed anyone's positive or negative outlook on the brand, but just saying.
I think they might have lost a few sales.
I saw a few people saying, "You're dead to me."
That's pretty funny. We're gonna move on from that. That's all stupid bullshit. But it's interesting for them to come out and say that they're behind Sony on manufacturing and other things. Sony came out. They said that this is the biggest console launch they've ever had, and based on all the numbers everyone has ever collected, that means the PS5 is the biggest launch in the history of game consoles. The previous record was the PS4 at shipping 2.1 million consoles sold in November of that year. So this one apparently is going so fast that it is going to surpass that by the end of the month. Or already has, most likely. This makes sense.
Yeah, some places say 2.1 in 2 weeks, which seems insane.
Yeah, it was 15 days, I believe, yeah. This makes
a million a week.
I kept telling people this is the most in-demand console most people have ever seen. The demand hasn't been this high since the PS3 and 360 era. Luckily, the supply is really high this time. I started looking, to verify this claim from Sony, somewhat, even vaguely, and other people saying it would thusly be the most popular. I started looking into launch numbers for consoles. I didn't realize how few 360s they produced. Give me a number you think they produced for the U.S. market at launch. Bob, I already told you.
Right, I won't participate.
So KZ.
900,000.
Okay, Mr. Feel.
1.2 million.
369,000.
Oh, we're a little bit in different category here, aren't we?
Yeah, I think they said that's how many they sold through in 2 days, and they sold out completely. That's a huge difference, because for people who don't realize, you get a lot of the stock on day one. Like, a huge amount of your stock is on day one. That number should be much, 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 much higher. The Xbox One, I believe they shipped nearly 1 million. I think it was 900,000 for the Xbox One at launch. And that was in America, they stressed. Sony sold over 1 million in 2 weeks, but it was worldwide. No, it was... Okay, so they sold basically the same number as Xbox in the States, but worldwide they sold way more, making the total 2.1 million for the month of November. I had absolutely no idea the 360 was produced in such small numbers. Like, holy shit. The fact that...
I guess that might make sense, because that was like one of the rare cases where they didn't have direct competition when they launched, because it came out a year early.
Yes. And also, that thing was notoriously rushed. Like, insanely rushed. There are many postmortems from the people who worked on the team that brought together the 360, talking about not only was it rushed, that was the goal. The goal was to rush it out. They were going to beat Sony to the market no matter fucking what. And that's what caused the red ring of death. That's what caused a lot of the problems. Anyway, that's cool. Glad to see I'm vindicated for saying this will be the most demand console possibly since the PS2. That thing was a hype machine. Anyway, moving on. There's a really, really cool information out there about the second PlayStation VR headset. This one's going to be for the PS5. They're building haptics into the headset, so that way you can feel...
Is it going to poke out my eyes?
Yes.
Nice.
But yeah, they're building haptics so that way you can feel movement and specific things, like it moving you in different ways, which is cool because... Like, when you play a video game then, and you get hit, you could actually get a tap, right? And that would be a level of feedback that I actually would want from a game. So that's pretty cool. They also put in some more sensors in these patents into the headset to let you know whether or not it's been properly attached. Like, is it tight enough? Is it too loose? Is it sitting correctly? They put a number of sensors in this patent, at least, to make sure that it can tell, right? So the PSVR on the PS5 is looking even more promising, and just looking at the patent stuff, this thing may be a shitload sleeker than the first one, which is exciting, because that first headset's actually really incredible. You guys don't know how nuts PlayStation VR is until you've tried it. It's a lot closer to the high-end PC stuff than you would imagine as someone who's tried both.
Seeing what like Devil May Cry and Call of Duty can do at 120 frames per second, I feel like VR is going to become insane.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, it looked great. Like, okay, so one of the things about VR is you can show some dipshittery, like some absolute potato assets, and in VR it looks incredible. You can be the guy staring at the TV, watching the guy next to you play, and you're like, that looks like a garbage video game. But if you wear the headset, you're like, this is goddamn magic.
I'm actually
amazing.
I'm actually feeding Saber tacos.
Yeah,
I know. I'm
saying that
going
exact thing.
Everyone's just racing for the tacos.
So, like, the thought of them doing a sleeker one that it has presumably even higher resolution display in it and is powered by the PS5, guys, this is gonna be nuts, and I'm really, really excited. Especially since those controllers they have are looking to track finger movement and stuff for better interactivity. You know, that way you can
more
pick
accurately hold the tacos.
Yes,
exactly.
We need a sequel to that bait game.
But if you squeeze too hard, the hard shell will crack and she'll be sad.
You're getting way too excited about it.
Dude, it's so cool. Like, I know it sounds really stupid, but
Because even the moment you take the headset off and you stare at the TV, you're mostly in amazement that the game looks that bad.
Yes.
You're like, wow, that was unreal with the headset on. Now it's like being sober. And like coming down off of an acid trip or something. You're like, wow, this is a real different thing. Anyway, last bit of news from me. People have brought this up and asked me about it because they know we do tech stuff, or I talk about tech. One of my favorite YouTube channels, Gamers Nexus, did thermal analysis on the PS5. And instead of doing the thing that everyone does, where they point a thermal camera at the console and go, it looks fine, they put actual thermal reading devices all over it. So they put it on the underside of the APU, which is, for people who don't know, the CPU and GPU combined into a unit called an APU. They put a thermal reading device on other elements of it. Everything seemed perfectly fine. It runs shockingly cool on everything, except one specific memory chip. One of the memory chips, as in like for the RAM, that they measured was running really hot. It was about 92 degrees Celsius. And for people who don't know, you don't want to hit 100. So it was actually shockingly high. Gamers Nexus, very critical of the cooling in the system because of that. He notes that Sony probably got some certification or some sort of allowance from the memory manufacturer to run it at temperatures that high. The question that everyone's wondering is this going to cause problems, right? Is there going to be some sustainability issue? Is there going to be a durability issue? The fan in the PS5 is running nowhere near top speed. As he points out in this video, it is very powerful, and they're just running it at a low speed so that way it's quiet. In theory, you could solve this problem somewhat by just ramping up the speed of the fan. But yeah, I don't know. The fact of the matter is no one knows until like we just keep running these machines for months and see if people's systems just start corrupting the memory. Like in this, the way this would present itself is like your screen would literally glitch out, right? You would have the visuals on screen just turn a weird color. You would have some problem with the game that didn't look like a normal game graphics glitch. So we'll just have to wait and see on this stuff, but everything else in the system's really cool. I don't know enough about memory modules like GDDR6 or whatever to know what temperatures are okay for it to run at, and I don't know that the guy from Gamers Nexus, who I can't remember the name of right now, which is bizarre because they're one of my favorite YouTube channels, I don't know that he knows the exact threshold which is safe. Because CPUs, GPUs, I know all those things, generally you don't want them that high. Specifically memory, I assume you also do not want it at 100. But until we get reports of people's consoles overheating and failing, I'm going to go ahead and say probably okay. Probably going to be okay. Probably not ideal. I imagine the next redesign of the PS5 fixes this. But yeah, that video is interesting. So if you want to see it, go search out Gamers Nexus PS5 cooler, and then that'll bring it up. Or just Gamers Nexus PS5. Very technical, very dry video, but worth checking out. Anyway, that's it for my news. We'll go to Bob next. Hey, Bob.
Sure.
How's it going?
So they announced a new Tomb Raider game, everyone.
Oh my God, they did.
What?
Oh my God, they did. I saw it and I already forgot. Jesus.
When the fuck did they announce the Tomb Raider game?
Tomb Raider Reloaded coming to mobile devices next year.
I need to get back into the dock. Hold on. There we go.
It's a CG.
There it is.
They did a CG trailer.
Looks really bad.
It has the art style, like the character design's back to more traditional Tomb Raider with sort of blue top, short shorts. But they have no idea what the gameplay is actually going to be. It's very cartoony looking. And there seems to be lots of monsters like T-Rexes and giant spiders and stuff.
That's kind of dire.
Yeah, it's probably going to be terrible.
It's a mobile game, but I don't even know what it is because they don't want to show us that part yet.
Yeah, because they don't want to show us the way you're going to have to give them lots of money.
See, the thing is, like, the art style I actually kind of groke with, right? Like, I get it, right?
Groke?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
what
a
the fuck
word.
is that word?
Use a fucking
I've never
dictionary,
heard
you
of-
two. Jesus fucking
I've
Christ.
never heard of Grok before.
Whatever. I don't care that you don't know a word. It's not
How
my
do you
job to
spell
teach
it? I
you.
want to know how you spell it.
Grok. Jesus fuck. Anyway,
What? I'm sorry.
you
This
can
boat
use
I've
the
heard-
sentence I said it in to infer the fucking meaning.
Yeah, but it's a weird word.
So, anyways,
Apology accept.
the art style looks fine. It looks great. If it was a game like for a real system, then I would have any level of excitement. But since they're not wanting to talk about what the actual gameplay is and it's mobile, it's like, come on, why'd you even show me this?
It is super weird to announce it without any sort of information as to what type of game it is at all.
Yeah.
Just like behind.
Yeah. Like, why did you fucking announce this?
I don't know. I want to believe they'll bring back Tomb Raider in a better light now that we're done with that bizarre trilogy. But I don't know.
God, I tried to play that last one, and I'm like, this is so bad.
And the only other thing on my news docket is the Immortals Rise of Phoenix, Phoenix Rising DLC.
We talked about this a little bit before the start of this, and I still don't believe any of it.
It's insane. Yeah, let me bring it up here. Here we go. It's going to be 3 DLC packages.
Okay.
The first one's a new god, where Phoenix embarks on a new adventure set in Olympus Palace.
Okay.
So yeah, just more stuff with Phoenix. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Then the second one. This is the weird one. Mist of the Eastern Realm. So you play as a new character. It's set in China. It's very strange.
Yeah, that's pretty weird.
Seems to be a lot of Chinese myths and stuff, and clearly like their bid to get into China.
Real quick, for anyone who doesn't get how weird that is, imagine if they put DLC in Uncharted 4 that had you play as a completely different character in China.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really weird thing for a DLC to have you play as a completely different character in another region entirely.
There's almost no way that character is being introduced in the game. Almost no way.
It's definitely strange for like an open world game.
And it's like the thing has Phoenix in the name of it. Like, I think it'd be a little more normal if it was just called Gods and Monsters like it was originally be called, but now this is Immortals, Phoenix Rising. It's about her.
Do you think the people who, the team that renamed it just wasn't in contact with anyone else? It's like, we have to rename it.
1000%.
But I'm really curious if it'll have the same weird narration tropes to it or anything. Or if it's just going to be completely different. Because it sounds like it'd be made by a totally different team.
It's Zeus putting on an accent and then
no!
to apologize.
I was about to say I'm just so scared of horrible narration. Also shout out to dark action game Gods Will Fall, which this reminded me of.
Oh, yeah.
A game that definitely didn't have to change its name within the past 6 months.
And then the final DLC is getting another new character called Ash.
It's also going to be like a top-down brawling game?
Yeah, I don't get it. That's so strange. It's called The Lost Gods. Whatever. This is a very strange DLC pass they've set up for this game.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
And then another DLC called Lost Monsters, and you're just trying to find the old title of the game.
We need it to be good again.
See, I was going for the much more appropriate joke of Zeus and, Prometheus finished their story, and then Zeus is like, I'm bored, and Prometheus goes, well, I got some China stories. Do you want to hear those? And he goes, yeah, sure.
I'm so sad they had to change the name of fucking from Gods and Monsters, because it was really fitting that niche Ubisoft's doing where they have no idea what to name games.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, that's Gods and Monsters. That pirate game is called Skull and Bones.
See, the weird thing is both of those stick better, I feel. Both of those, you didn't forget those names. Immortals Rise of Phoenix.
I think a lot of people forgot the game.
Oh my god,
They forgot about
it's Phoenix Rising. Rise of the Phoenix Raider.
Yeah, like Rise of Phoenix would have worked better, I think, because I've said that like 10 times trying to say the other one.
Yeah, I know. And every single time I'm like, there's no hope here.
I'm just still staring at this image of Tomb Raider Reloaded and going, why didn't those Tomb Raider downloadable games have an art style like this? Like Lara Croft and the Marbles of Madness?
Yeah. I just look at it and be like, oh man, Jim Ratcase would be upset.
I didn't even I didn't even notice, but you're absolutely right, Jim. Jim would have some criticisms of this design.
Some words.
It would have some words with them. I'm like, is there any other insane DLC news?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There. Phil has insane DLC news.
Oh, I love this DLC news though.
So, Mortal Kombat 11 is getting a skin pack of Sonya Blade, Johnny Cage, and Raiden that are their actors from the 90s movie.
It's amazing. That trailer is
it's great because from Ronda
Saved.
Rousey.
I listened. I'm like, oh man, a real actress.
Yeah.
Her ring start is Sandy Hook did happen.
But yeah, no, it's great. I really like that version of Raiden.
Yes, a lot.
Christopher Lambert, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes.
This makes sense. He was in French commercials for Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh, that's
playing
good.
with people on the couch.
What's even the last thing he did? We haven't seen him in a fucking while.
Yeah, I'm glad that these people are also alive. That's also relieving.
Yeah, no, this shit's cool as hell. Because they said it replaces the voice, and I didn't expect that initially.
Yeah, no, I had to watch that trailer. I was like, oh man, they did. Jesus.
Yeah, I love Raiden's actor in the first Mortal Kombat movie.
Like, Richard Eppard's great, but he's not Christopher Lambert.
Right.
Yes.
Wait.
It's
Richard.
great they did that. They got...
For a second there, I was like, Bob, wait, are you implying the second Mortal Kombat movie had Richard Redcar?
That would have been
Wait.
amazing.
Oh my God.
I wish.
I wish that dude's like 60. He could have done it.
I started shaking over here. I'm like, how the hell?
God.
That would
God,
be
it was so it's been so long since I saw that second movie, Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat
completely
Annihilation.
Forgot it had a different Raiden.
It's so bad.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation genuinely cursed. One, nah, that's all right.
Yeah, one's like probably one of the best video game movies ever made.
Yeah,
really
it was
great stuff.
so good that Ed Boon is like, I'm gonna make Kano Australian.
Yeah, it makes sense to do this move though, because Shang Tsung they just straight up brought in that actor,
which is dope.
And his win quote is just recreating the "Your soul is mine"
I really need to play
from the movie
11 with all this extra stuff. This is really great stuff.
Yeah, I should just like buy the upgrade path.
I thought the upgrade was free. Like as long as
buy the rest of the character. My brain spiders will force me with a fighting game to be on the most current amount.
Yeah, because the upgrade to PS5
I'm like,
is
shit's locked. Shit's locked. This is unacceptable. We have to fix this. I'm not even gonna play Melina, but I need her to not have a lock on her head.
I'm gonna need her to not be in the game. Honestly, fucking.
I don't think they've put anyone in the game that I dislike at the level of Negan, so I'm fine with everybody here.
That's Melina for me.
What's wrong? Big mouth?
The teeth. Anyway, you know, we did play some Tekken 7. We never talked about it. KZ kept doing the Negan fancy move, and I started losing.
That is my favorite shit. Doing his super fucking where they recreate his iconic scene from AMC's The Walking Dead. Every time it hit, you were so upset
because it's such a long special, and he's just like,
it's
look
like
at that.
seconds.
Then he put like clown makeup on, and it's worse.
Take it like a champ.
Yeah, the part where KZ started strapping a pizza to his back and had clown makeup on,
and a scouter.
It's so stupid. What an amazing game. You know what? Since we cleared out the movie skin pack, which was Feel news, let's finish out Feel's news. Feel.
Okay, Red Dead Online is going standalone. It's launching in December. It's $20, but for the first 2 months, it'll only be $5 because they want to get you into that fucking ecosystem.
They should make it free.
They should make it free.
Anyone in
it's
that
so
right,
it's so
like,
strange.
Like that, right?
The whole idea seemed insane to me because it's like, guys, if people aren't going to be in 2 of these ecosystems at once, you already got everybody with Grand Theft Auto Online. Like everybody who's going to get got by this. That's why Grand Theft Auto 5 is sold like what? 70 million copies? something insane.
I think that's actually right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kooky.
I have to look now. 135 million copies.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So it's like, guys, they aren't gonna play that and your cowboy thing. Come on, like if they had made it free, at least some people who never bought Grand Theft Auto, I don't know who even I own it, would get pulled in. But Jesus. And last thing, Dragon Age creator Mike Laidlaw and Ubisoft veterans establish Yellow Brick Games, a new studio. They don't have anything to announce other than that they exist.
Oh my God, two like terrible industry vets making a terrible studio.
It's like the opposite of peanut butter and chocolate.
Oh my God. Ugh.
It's exciting.
Ugh. You know that other week where we got that news about the guys from Blizzard leaving and making their own studio, and it was super exciting?
Yeah.
This is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say this does feel like the Virgin Chad meme.
I, for one, am excited for all sorts of new initiatives, even if they're for games I don't like at all, from people I don't appreciate the work of in the least. I look forward to seeing what these people make, and I worry it's not worth paying attention to.
I just hope that these are not people accused of any certain scandals involved with the company.
I feel like you don't put yourself on the front of the package if you're a criminal. It's like if certain people's next game came out from a certain studio, and they put a picture of themselves with a shit-eating grin on the cover.
That'd be pretty good, though. I've got some quickies that I want to roll through.
Sure.
Because they're clearly the fast stuff before we dig into anything notable.
Sure.
We got current gen upgrades. Those are starting to drop. First up, on by the time this comes out, the Warframe one should be out. I think that comes out like tomorrow.
Cool. Yeah,
So,
I'm very excited to try Warframe.
That's probably better than Godfall.
I'm Warframe.
We need to make a Warframe podcast only because he do that at the start of every episode.
If we all play it, we'll have like a segment on Big Thing Dimension a couple times where I say that.
Yeah, maybe. God.
It has an intro ditty and everything. That's
Rainbow
cool.
Six Siege is dropping on December 1st. That I think supports 120 FPS.
Yeah, they were saying that during that Ubisoft Forward thing a while ago.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Because it was
that
sub 60.
It
was really bad on
it was
PS3,
40s,
PS4. Yeah.
And it wasn't even like a locked 1080p. It was dynamic.
Yeah, that'll be on December 1st. Then Destiny 2's current gen upgrade is going to be a week later on December 8th.
Nice. So really, those two updates from Rainbow Six and Warframe are happening just like in the couple days around this episode going up. I'm really excited for the Destiny one, where I will never team up with someone on PS4 again.
Banished.
I mean, okay, guys,
Be gone.
you guys need to understand. When I played COD, I was like, this crossplay slowing me down. I know. I'll lock it off to PlayStation. And then I realized the PS4 people were slowing me down. I was like, God damn it. And that was bad enough to cope with, dealing with the huge load times when I could just be done in 2 seconds. But then Digital Foundry came out, did their analysis, was like, yeah, it takes like 2 seconds. And I'm like, no!
Really looking forward to the first one of these CODs that we get to cut off all of these guys.
Yeah.
I hope that whatever year that is a really good game.
Yes. Hopefully it's a game that actually pushes a next-gen console and not just a game that looks almost identical but cuts off last-gen people.
I'm glad you added that modifier there because I didn't think about the monkey's paw situation.
Yeah.
Like, here, you got what you wanted. This game's bad.
Yes.
You know what I like?
What do you like?
Dumb downloadable content.
Uh-huh.
Like this apparent free update to Monster Hunter World Iceborne that has Milla Jovovich in it because it's crossing over with the live-action Monster Hunter movie.
Very cool.
It's happening December 4th. I saw her do a combo and then talk to the Richard Epcar character.
Wait, did she actually voice the character?
I heard grunts, so I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it might just be like grunts in the same way that I think what's her name in Horizon? She's also in that.
Oh, right.
Ashley
Alloy.
Birch?
Yeah, like her character from Horizon. They did like a crossover thing with that when World came out.
Sorry, I thought you were literally talking about the voice actress, not the character.
Oh.
I forgot they did that Horizon crossover.
Yeah, you could turn like your little Palico cat into a robot.
Which is fucking dope.
Yeah.
Yep. You may have forgotten this was supposed to come out this year, but it's not anymore. Cuphead Delicious Last Course delayed again to 2021. The DLC that they announced 3 years ago.
Yeah, I didn't have any real expectations of it coming out this year.
Yeah, they pushed it again in response to, the stuff going on. And that stuff's still going on, so...
That's cool.
They keep, like, pointing out that, like, this is it. Like, this is a big finale for Cuphead, so they wanted to really push everything they've learned to make the best thing in the world. Still kind of feel like they could have just pivoted and just said it was a 2, but,
I feel like that's what it's going to end up being in terms of scale, because originally it was like one new island, then it's like, guys, did you yacht club it, where it's like, we just made a new game.
It's just going to be weird where it's like, pick up this brand new hype DLC for this game that came out 4.5 years ago or some shit.
That is the size of that game.
Yeah, thinking about Cuphead and this support with it, and then I also thought of, Shovel Knight's great treasure trove support. This is why I stand for last gen so hard over 7th gen. Like, these games are amazing. Shovel Knight and Cuphead are both such great games. I'm glad to see them both getting amazing support post-launch. Like, I think this DLC thing's going to be great.
Yeah.
Now I'm just thinking, they said that we'd see more River City Girls sometime. Still wait.
It's like the end of a Marvel movie.
Every time
they will return.
See, how every time you bring up River City, I think of every time Battletoads is brought up.
Oh,
and people are like, the
Battletoads will return? Question mark?
The beat 'em up genre was dead for years. And I was like, what?
yeah, were you high or something?
Yes.
Yes. So the pandemic and stuff's been rough on, developers across the board. It's been hard to adapt. Square Enix has just announced they're going to start doing permanent work from home programs starting next month. Just transitioning entirely. It's an optional thing, so people can like go in, or they could just do their stuff from home now.
That's
cool.
Good. I did retweet a thing the other day that was a joke about applying for game positions at game development studios, and one of the things was, we'll let you work from home, but only because of the disease. Eventually, you'll have to move to one of the 4 most expensive cities in the U.S.
Yeah, I saw that there's a job listing from Gung Ho for a
community
manager, which I would seriously have considered if it didn't involve, well, eventually you have to go live in San Francisco. I was like, no, what?
Why? Well, you just text me whatever I need to do.
Your community...
You need somebody to tell people how good Grandy is, and I'm willing to do that.
Your community isn't in San Francisco, it's around the world. I can do that job from here, motherfucker. You want me to tweet that I like Gundam Seed? I can do that from here.
I'm sorry, I can't do that from anywhere.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not safe on this planet while doing that.
Microsoft, I'm making you an offer. You give me control of your Twitter accounts, you will see engagement numbers that you have never thought possible.
Well, let me tell you, your relationship with Nintendo, though, might get pretty weird. He might be pulling a page out of the book from Saved You a Clip video games. Xbox, why you like this Daisy art?
Oh, no! But yeah, it was a couple of months ago for the Square thing where the Yoshi P was talking about development on FF14, saying we're entirely work from home and we are now doing things just as fast as we did before. So I think that was probably the main contributing factor to this actually happening.
Yeah, when they can to do their 30-hour workday and then go to sleep in their real bed, I think that makes them feel better.
Yeah. Then the fact that it's like, oh yeah, our development pipeline didn't just die completely. Like they're getting some semblance of a schedule back on that, which is hard when they have to make a major patch for that game every like 3 or 4 months.
Hey, Nomura, are we gonna see anything from Kingdom Hearts next year? And he's just like, fucking no. Do you know what's going on?
Like I got my bed right next to me now. I'm never talking about Kingdom Hearts
again. Like the answer was originally no, but now it's fuck no. Like shit.
So our last piece of news, really exciting, because I spent the final, I guess, day of this The World Ends With You countdown going, fuck. Because they updated and just showed a mobile phone.
Oh,
like,
God, I'd have turned to stone if I had known that.
It was a mobile phone with a square symbol on it, which, one, some people were worried, oh God, is it related to the dumb Kingdom Hearts shit that happened with the new release of that game? Because there was some stupid shit in there. The other was, oh man, is it a phone? What's gonna happen? I am so glad I woke up late and did not see the countdown hit 0. Because you know what they did? They showed that phone suddenly turn into a video, and the video was that Switch The World Ends With You release on a phone, and I'm like, oh my god, these are such fucking pricks that make you think they're mobile porting the thing that was a port of another port. But then it zooms out to completely new characters who were looking at that on their phone, going through dialogue that transitions into Neo, The World Ends With You, a sequel to Twooey. That's coming out for PS4 and Switch next summer. It's a full 3D action game now.
Yeah, it looks neat. I'm very glad that it isn't a direct sequel, which is what people were afraid of after that shit in the Switch version.
I'm really curious.
It is though.
I mean, like a sequel starring the same characters.
Oh, okay, because it has a bunch of returning characters in it, and is picking up on the mysterious girl they've shown in promo art since 2012.
Yeah.
She's like Square Enix's Asagi, I guess.
Yes.
No, this would have to get canceled.
Don't worry, we have a few months.
Oh, come on, man.
No, very likely something got canceled 8 years ago. Because they're like, here it is. Here's a picture of a brand new character with new 7 days in the background. I wonder what that is. And then we never saw her again until that Switch release.
Sometimes you pull back the curtain and it's still just a wall. There was nothing.
Yeah. This looks a lot more than I expected from a sequel. I was thinking they would just make it the exact same game. Instead, I saw like 4 people fighting at once, and it's full 3D action.
I'm really curious how it plays, because I went back to Toei Original yesterday when I heard about this, just because I wanted to get reacquainted with that. There's no way to translate that gameplay.
Yeah, you can't translate Pat from the puck.
You can't.
So I'm very curious
Switch
what
version,
they do.
Switch versions, it's either touch controls in portable mode or the motion, which makes some gestures in that basically impossible for me to even do.
Ugh. But yeah,
but this is PS4, so it's fine.
Yeah, we'll see what they make it, because this isn't a thing where you can transfer the old gameplay, so I'm excited to see where they take it in general. And honestly, the best thing about that game was always the soundtrack, so they really need to nail that.
Original composer's back, which is Ishimoto. He confirmed it on Twitter today.
Good.
That how excited he is to keep on making some tracks. New characters look cool. They bring back some old favorites. This has been the highest concentration of girls I know going, oh man, oh yeah. It's not often that I see so many people get horny this quickly, but they put
Sho Minamoto back in, so it was over.
Yeah, they brought him back in and gave him a hood, and people were like, oh man, math.
Did you know, Casey? Did you know that every character that Nomura draws who is blonde is the same character, even if they have a completely different silhouette?
Yeah, I don't know. I saw like 2 people on my timeline saying the new character looks like Roxas, and I'm like, yes, they are both blonde. Never really understood that. Man, does this man like designing characters with plaid now? That shit was
called
everywhere.
phases.
Yeah.
This phase is lasting a long time, feel.
Hey, the belts also lasted a long time.
Yes.
Though to be fair, he self-admitted that he made it go on for longer just to make people cope.
Yes, that's also they better have a song as good as 3 minutes clapping. That's like the most based song in the original.
Even some of the new music they got going on for the anime looks dope because they also released a trailer for that at the same time.
When I woke up, all I saw was the trailer for the anime, and I was really scared. I was like, I guess that countdown went really bad for everyone. I'm sorry.
It was for this thing we already announced.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that hurts.
Also, moving on. Discussion gave me the idea for a banger tweet I have to make right this second live on the podcast.
They even used the anime's Twitter account to like do announcements for the game where Nomura drew Neku and the new character saying, "By the way, I designed this before the pandemic. The mask was planned before this. I did not know it would become our norm."
He promotes bad mask usage. It's not good.
That makes like the mask makes sense based on like if they're going for a similar sort of theming as the original had, where it's like the character is closed off from everybody, and the mask can be a form of that, like the way the headphones were.
I booted up my old game, and I was in the secret mode you get after you beat the game, where he's
you were in like a total pin slammer.
Yeah,
mode.
He's acting like a madman.
Where he's a Yu-Gi-Oh character.
Yes,
except with pin slammer.
Must resist emo urges.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important. I hope they have a minigame that's better than Tin Pin Slammer in this.
You know they will.
No, they need Neo Tin Pin Slammer, and it's fucking unhinged now.
Yeah, there's going to be some sort of insane 10-pin slammer game. There's no chance there won't be. We've already seen they use the pin for combat still. That's basically the only combat information I'm sure on.
True. Those pins look dope though. I saw Kamehamehas and stuff. It looks exciting. But yeah, that's great news. I'm glad that's finally, coming out, and it's not just coming out for Switch. That's been the biggest fear of all of them.
Yeah, I never felt like we particularly needed a sequel to Toei, but I think it's cool.
I feel like it all would have been fine if it hadn't just been we're gonna tease you forever.
Yeah, them teasing for like 8 years ain't good, but
I like what KZ said on Twitter the best. Like they're just like Kingdom Hearts fan, except when they say they were waiting 13 years from a sequel, it is an insane lie.
Yeah, you actually waited this time, and it actually is happening. God,
that remaster's a sequel.
It's got that people are like, I don't like the story of the new thing they set up. When in reality they should be more complaining about that is a 2-hour scenario in which there is no content in it. There is like 2 or 3 minutes of new content spread across 15 or 20 fights in a row.
Oh, fuck that.
They're really high tier, like Muso-esque fights against noise. It's really bad.
Why even do it? Just fucking don't bother.
God. But yeah, that's it. That's our news.
That's our news for this episode of Big Think Dimension. I would like to thank the Pond Lords and anyone who watches this for doing so. Hey, Bob, what do you have going on in the next week?
I don't know.
Okay, that's cool. I hear it's a national holiday and then a national disaster right back to back. I'm going to sit at home.
Yeah, that's fair. Everyone stay safe.
Probably play some Demon Souls. I hope everyone stayed safe. Tried to give you some words of strength last week for anyone who's dealing with some drama from the family, for maybe not traveling. KZ, what are you doing in the next week?
Let's see. Well, I'm going to probably play some more of this Immortals game, but I do need to play some of the other games that I have on my list of shit I need to play to close out the year, because I'm going to be dive bombing a lot of stuff in time for Game of the Year, because we're nearing the end here. So I'm going to work on that, see what's going on.
Mr. Feel?
I don't know. I can't see past the Thanksgiving coma. So it's impossible for me to know what will happen after that.
What's going to happen after the Thanksgiving coma? Nothing. Feel just in a room being fat.
Yeah. I'll look like one of the fat officials in Demon Souls now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Big Think Dimension. If you would like to support the GB Podcast Network, head on over to patreon.com/GB Podcast so that way you can get exclusive behind the scenes on stuff, other content. There's a lot of content. It's basically non-ending avalanche of content. So head on over there, become a $5 backer or a Podlord today. This month's GigaBoots videos were brought to you by our lordly executive producers, Esme, E. Lee Broyles, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Danny Richardson, Red Blaze 27, Third Birthday Wen, and Adam Macarena. Thank you very much to our executive producers.
And also these guys.
Soar on over to patreon.com/GigaBoots and become an executive producer today.